All right, everybody, welcome to North Cal Sports Network. We're going to get right into it here. Giants with a big come-from-behind win tonight, down 3-0. The Bats come to life as they get one run in, and then they make it 3-1, and then they add three more runs in the seventh inning to come from behind. It was actually a good victory for the club, being able to come from behind. They didn't look like they were going to get nothing out of, hitting Cabrera.
They could do nothing against Cabrera. But once that bullpen came in for
that bullpen is just awful. That was an awful pin tonight to watch the Marlins. Made you think, man, the Giants actually have a pretty good bullpen when you look at
I know, right?
But tonight Jung-Hoo Lee looked good at the plate, smacked the ball hard into the outfield a couple of times, showed off a little bit of his arm out in center field, had an accurate arm, and I wouldn't say it's a cannon by any means, but it's
serviceable.
It's serviceable. Yeah, it's not like it's a noodle arm. I mean, no. I think Nick Ahmed, when we talk about noodle arm, I think Nick Ahmed for a shortstop has got a little bit of a
my God. When he bounced that one I was like, it's not that long of a throw.
I've seen a lot of his throws in the dirt this year, offline, because it's not like Chapman where it's just a laser across the diamond. But Giants get 8 hits. Like I say, they come back 4-3. And Kyle Harrison actually is now 2-1.
Yeah.
He got the victory because the Giants
were able
to 3 after he left the game, but no one else had come in to pitch yet. So it was a big victory for the Giants, much needed. They couldn't go 6-11 and start this trip 1-3. I mean, the Marlins are 3-14. They look every bit of it, 3-14. But I still think it's going to be a tough series for the Giants because Marlins are going to wake up and start winning. Their bats woke up a little bit this weekend against Atlanta, but so tonight, I mean, I got to say, stars of the game. If I was to look at it, I would say Jung-Hoo Lee, who got the tying run in. Wilmer Flores with the big go-ahead hit. And I would say, Kyle Harrison pitched pretty good after the one hiccup in the second. He kind of was getting hit pretty good, and then he didn't walk, only but one.
That's what you want to see out of Harrison, right?
Harrison, he didn't strike out a lot, which is what he usually does. But, hey, if you're not striking out guys, that means and you're not walking guys, that means you're efficient because they're hitting the ball. And if you're hitting it at your defense, let your defense. This is a good Giants defense. They're solid they're tops at third base, okay? They're top of about as good as you can get in baseball at third. Shortstop, above average. Nick Ahmed is still a above average fielding shortstop. Estrada's looking better this year. Wade's playing a decent first base. Yaz plays pretty much borderline Gold Glove right field.
True.
Yaz is don't care for his hitting. He's I don't see him,
But the thing is, you get the bad with the good, because all three of those guys you talked about at the plate.
Yeah.
A different story.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we said. Giants are going to win a lot of games like this, 4-3, 3-2. They have to keep teams under 4 runs a game to have a chance. If they give up 4 runs or more, they're going to lose the majority of those games. Just is. That's just the way it is. And it's that way for most teams, but the Giants in particular, because what we saw tonight, them coming back and putting together a late rally in the 7th inning, I don't see that happening too often, especially when you don't hit the long ball. I can see them getting the long ball, getting 3 runs coming in occasionally, but for them to, move the line, so to speak, as they did tonight, I don't think that's going to be their forte. But Jung-Hoo Lee is he's played a good center field, and he gets after. You know what I noticed about Los? You probably noticed this playing fielder, or did you play short?
I was a center fielder.
Center field. Okay, me too. Center fielder and some shortstop as well. But
that's why you like Tyler Fitzgerald. He's just like you.
It's. I mean, I could play pretty much anywhere but catcher. Don't even put me back there. You can give me an umpire, the old umpire's chest protector, and I don't want to catch.
My infield career stopped when I took a bad hop in a area and didn't have a
contact. Oh yeah. Hi Los, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I didn't raise my hand in class the next day for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I noticed about Lee in center field is very good first step.
That's the key.
Because a lot of guys in center field, their first step naturally is back. Some go in, and Lee tends to be able to, we saw Chisholm do it tonight in center. He went back, but then his speed was able to make up for it and come flying in for the catch. But some guys Lee seems like a natural out there for me.
I recall a lot of the assumptions about Lee one of them was, they only play in domes in Korea. So, and it was a legitimate question, okay, you're playing in domes all the time, and now you're going to have the elements. You're going to have skies, clouds, and how are you going to be able to pick up the ball rather than just being in the dome all the time? So keep that in mind. He's in his first year. He's
Correct.
Playing at different stadiums with different angles, and there are some skies that are higher than others.
He had trouble in Oracle in that first series at Oracle.
Yeah. I think so. That's not an easy place to play.
No.
Outfield, definitely. So he's just going to get better as far as his fielding, but his natural instincts, I think you're right on, Dan. He has a very good approach to being able to pick the ball up and take the right steps toward where it's going to be, where he thinks it's going to be. So
it's critical too. That's the critical thing in if you're playing outfield, man. It's got to be able to read the ball. Sometimes you get fooled. Everybody's going to get fooled by the sound of the ball, or guys like Soler can fool you because if they take a big huge hack, and the ball looks like and you hear a crack of the bat, and it's like all of a sudden it's one of those Texas Liggers. It's about to go into no man's land between the infielders and the outfielder. Those are the ones that get everybody.
Staying on Lee a little bit, guys. One thing I've heard on the show, whether I've been on or not, kind of consistently, and then in social media, is he hits the ball on the ground a lot. I keep hearing that he hits the ball on the ground a lot.
He was earlier in the year. He hasn't the last 3 or 4 games.
His last few games, he's done better.
Do you guys remember the movie Major League, the classic Major League? Do you remember the old manager used to tell Willie Mays Hayes when he was taking batting practice, because he has a lot of speed, if you hit the ball in the air, you got to get down and give me push-ups. You want your leadoff hitter and speed guy to hit the ball on the ground because you're going to get a lot of infield hits. Now, do we want him to drive it and hit in the gaps for doubles and triples? Yeah, absolutely. An occasional home run? Yeah. But if I have a choice between my leadoff hitter being a fly ball guy and a ground ball guy, I want him to be a ground ball guy every single time, because a lazy can of corn in the air is going to be an out every single time.
You just need him to hit it hard.
That's what it is. The line. I want to see the line there. The liners.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, definitely. If he can hit the ball to the left side more, and the way he gets out of the box, he'll get a lot more infield hits. But yeah, I agree. He needs to.
And you know what? I like that he wants to put the ball in play, but it's okay to take a walk as a leadoff hitter.
I agree.
Right?
I think he could do a little better job.
His on-base percentage isn't the greatest as far as for a leadoff hitter, right?
Yeah, I think that's his.
And maybe that'll come.
Yeah, that's his maturation to be a better player in the next year or two. Is he needs to steal more. The first stolen
he got picked
base
off today, though. Not picked up, but he got thrown out, right?
His first stolen base, when I watched it again, like he got a horrible jump. Like you got to be more than fast to steal bases. You have to know how to read pitchers' moves. You're taught to look at the front knee. It's what we were taught way back in the day. So I think these are things he's going to get better at. So yeah, that's a positive development that he came through today.
And Camilo Duvall, you know, hasn't pitched in a week. I thought he looked okay. Again, he's got to watch that clock. He's got to watch that pitch clock, man.
Sometimes goodness.
Sometimes he forgets about it. But he did well. Came in and got a 4-out save, so you can't argue with that. So.
I wonder if they're going to really look at that pitch clock in the off season, and I doubt they get rid of it. But with so many injuries, like
I don't think it's the pitch clock though.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think the pitch clock, you know, it makes pitchers uncomfortable, but I don't think that's like. It might be a combination of all of it, but I think the combination, it's kind of on the bottom. You might want to more look at, you know, these guys throwing max effort every time, and you know, your body can only take so much.
Right. That's what I think the majority of it is, and I think the speeding it up to throw at that max effort makes it. You know, it's like you're at the gym and you're doing sets, and you're not going
take a break.
You're not going light. You're going heavy, and you go heavy, and you're taught to I get my 6-8 sets in. I need 30, 60 seconds. Well, imagine being on the clock and I got to get right back in 15 seconds. Yeah. So I think that's spot on, Eric. I think it's a combination of they're going max effort, throwing the ball as hard as they can, spinning it as hard as they can. And now I got to do it in a rapid type of way. So that combination, it's bad for the game. Baseball has to figure that out. It's bad for the game. So,
yeah, the 18 seconds is with a man on base. Is
I don't understand why they had to adjust it by 2 seconds. Is really that much of a difference? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, that 2 seconds is tough with the guy on.
Yeah, why did they have to adjust it by 2? Just leave it where it was. It seemed to
it's really
okay.
I don't like the idea because when you adjust it with men on base, you're better off if you want to take 2 seconds. Take it on the front end when there's nobody on base. Go 13 and 20. You know, don't take the 2 seconds from.
When guys are on base,
because when nobody's on base, it's catching, it's playing catch. You know, you get the ball back, clock starts. You know, usually some guys go out of the stretch, but most guys go out of the windup. They're looking straight ahead. You get your sign and throw. But when there's a guy on base, man, there's a lot of pressure. You got to worry about holding him on. You got to worry about, is he going to steal? Do I need to, quicken up my delivery, my delivery to home, and all this stuff's going on, and you got 18 seconds to do it. It's, I don't know. To me, that's where they're just. I thought really for the playoffs, if they get to the playoffs, I like the 22nd or 18. I prefer 25 at least with a man on base, maybe even 30. Maybe you do it 20. Playoffs, maybe you go something like 25 seconds, but then when you get to the 8th and 9th inning, it's 30 because the drama in the playoffs and the intensity, these guys need time to recharge.
Yeah. I was with some baseball buddies over the weekend, Dan, and I told them your idea about instead of just throwing 4 balls for a ball. And we were all like, yeah, just sit on the mound, have a cocktail or smoke a cigarette or, and just let the clock go 15 seconds, ball, another 15. So like a whole minute.
Yeah.
Save those 4 throws on your arm.
Save the 4 throws. Get your mind thinking.
We had a lot of laughs.
That's what I would do. If I'm on the mound and I got a pressure situation and my coach says holds up, wants to hold up 4. I'm just like, okay, I'm taking 4 15-second pitch violations because now I've got a minute to actually rest up.
All it would take would be one pitcher to do that. And on ESPN and MLB Tonight, they would be all over that saying, wow, that's a genius move. And
you heard it here. NorCal Sports Network.
Say, yeah, that was originated by Dan Coach Amelia.
Come on, let's
imagine if we get NorCal Sports Network on MLB Tonight and ESPN saying, "Oh yeah, this guy on that show mentioned that." Oh my god! Subscribers, 100,000.
The first part would be the first two. I guarantee the announcer go, "Whoa, he's 2-0. Does he know he's not getting it?"
Wait a second, he's sitting on the damn mound.
But hey, guys, it's we're at just after 7. Post game here, we're going to go along, but at 7:15, we are going to have a special guest. So stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss this, because we're going to be talking to the director of player personnel with the #1 ranked farm system in all of Major League Baseball, the Baltimore Orioles. So we're going to hear some good things about the Orioles and minor leagues, what it's like to come up through the minor leagues, what it's like to get to the majors, hitting philosophies. Anthony Villa will be joining us. And he not only is the director of player personnel, he's not just a guy that, just got handed a job of player personnel. He played the game, high level, St. Mary's College, played with Corbin Burns, Tony Gonsolin, some other guys, got drafted, was MVP of the rookie league with the White Sox organization, and then played 3 years in the White Sox organization. And then when baseball ended, he moved to the Rangers, and then we'll get into that. But this is going to be a lot of information, so hang with us. So, guys, what did you think of the at-bats that you saw tonight? I have my concerns with Chapman's ability to just put the bat on the ball and just drive it. I mean, we see it at times. He'll drive it to right field, base hit. He'll go at that hole at second base. But the strikeouts, I don't know what his current stats are, but we're getting about 2 Ks a game.
He's striking out a lot. I mean, it's just, man.
His glove is exceptional.
Yes, his glove is exceptional. We talked about this before they even signed him. That's one of the things that we were worried about. Yes, his defense is going to be great, but what's the back going to be like? And right now, it's not looking good. Granted, we're 17 games in.
Yeah, I know. 17 games is early, and you can keep. Eventually, those 17 games turn into 48 games, and then 62 games. And you're saying it's still early. It's still early.
Well, yeah, there comes a time where it's not early no more, right?
Right. I say probably what's not early is when you say about 60 games.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. 45 games, about 45 games in, you should have an idea where this team is, headed. I mean, I love the pitching is the strength of the club, but they're missing a couple of bats. They need to find, maybe those holes, maybe they just plug up the hole at short and right field, and that's enough. That may be enough. So you bring in, I said this since last year. We saw it tonight. How about Luis Arias' second at bat tonight, when he just kind of just put the bat out there and just like fungoed it into left center is like nasty. That's just silly stuff. Bat control.
There's an old school game of baseball that Dan knows very well, and it's called Pepper.
Yep.
And that is extinct. It does not exist anymore. Watching baseball, like, us that are in fantasy and watching all these games and all these players, I have never in my life seen so many guys take called third strikes. There is so much guessing right now in baseball. They're guessing because they want to hit, I don't know, their monstrous home run or whatever. It's situational baseball, I'm understanding. how to help the team and hit behind a runner, get him over to third, and it's choking up on 2 strikes and hitting a sacrifice fly so you can get a run in. God, you just don't see that hardly anymore, and it is
part of the analytics driven portion of the game, and there's some good parts to it. I understand, that sometimes
it's what you do with the information and how you interpret it and how you implement it. That's I think the key.
I really want to know what is the good part of analytics. I want to hear what the good.
I mean, if you think about it, a batting average, that's analytics, right?
I mean, I think probably the good part is sometimes it's taking the pitch that's not yours to hit in your zone I get, called strike 2.
Is that really analytics or is that just more mechanical type stuff? I don't know.
No, it's an analytic approach, and it's also approach of drive the pitch that's in your zone. Don't swing at a pitch that's not yours, even if it's a strike. Wait for your pitch to drive it. The key is a lot of guys are taking called strike 3, and that's where I struggle with it because, and a lot of times they're just guessing and they guess wrong. They're guessing, one way, and it's
Eric's not going to relate to this because he refuses and does not want to watch Moneyball, but.
I ain't watching that shit.
In the movie Moneyball, Dan, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
There's a part where they're in the clubhouse and the geek nerd is talking to the players about, when you get your pitch, you're hitting 625. And then when you don't get your pitch and you're behind, you're hitting 120. No shit. I mean, I don't need a computer for that. Anybody knows that you're not going to hit as well on 0-2 as you are on 3-1. I mean, I don't need a computer for that. Second thing, Brad Pitt's character, Billy Bean, he said, I don't care how you get on base. I don't care if you get a hit or walk. I just want you on base. And then the player said, well, I steal bases. He goes, no, you don't anymore. I just need you to get on base. You're not stealing anymore. So we don't know how much of that is Hollywood and making it.
Well, I know analytics are very down on stolen bases. They are.
But if analytics is down on an active baseball that gets you 90 feet closer to scoring a run, then analytics, in my opinion, can go to hell. And you know how I feel about analytics. There is nothing that says stop stealing. If you gotta have a glove, can you imagine analytics in Ricky Henderson's day? Hey, dude, I know you got a lot of power, but when you get on base, don't steal. Just stay there. I mean, the other guy might hit into a double play, but don't steal, or we discourage you from stealing.
I think it comes down to certain guys have green lights and some guys.
The bag is bigger now, and stolen bases were up last year, and runs went up last year.
And you can't throw over the first base only but twice, and that's it. Yeah. It's all of the advantage to the runner right now.
Think about the Giants and why they're having trouble scoring, guys. We've mentioned it so many times on the show. With
speed,
with no bat and shortstop and no bat in right field. You have a team that does not have, and Fitzgerald doesn't play when he sits. You have a team with no power and no speed. So basically, to score a run, this team has to get either a walk and 2 hits or 3 hits to score 1 run. Okay, if we're going to get into analytics, let's talk analytics. If you're a great hitter, you get a hit 3 times out of 10. So in order for the Giants to score 1 run, because they don't have a ton of power, they have to get hit, walk, or hit, or some combination of 3 of those things to score 1 run. So if your ballpark doesn't have a lot of power and you don't have a lot of power hitters other than Soler and Conforto, I think are their only guys that are legitimate power hitters, they're going to be scoring 3 or 4 runs every game. I don't need to be a computer scientist to figure that out. Like, I played baseball. A home run, a 3-run home run like that, 1 swing of the bat is 3 runs. And that is why we're so insistent on having a little bit more power at shortstop and a little bit more power in right field and a little bit more speed. Because now, like we talked about a few days ago, Eric, remember, we talked about speed is just not stealing bases. Mm-hmm. It's a guy at first base and a double in the alley, a guy with speed, scoring. You get that run. If it's Wilmer Flores
He's getting to second base.
It's second and third. The next guy pops up. Next guy strikes out. They don't score. So you can't teach speed. Speed helps you stop runs because you can go get those balls in the outfield, and it helps you scoring runs offensively. So the Giants' philosophy of having neither power or speed, it's no wonder that they're averaging 3 to 4 runs a game, and that's how it's going to be until they make changes in the lineup.
Right.
Hey, real quick, before we get into more stuff, chat, I want you to guys understand we're going to have a guest coming on soon. Please act on your best behavior. Mods, Absolutely. Please make sure you guys are monitoring that chat. Make sure there ain't no funny business going on out there. I'll be also monitoring it as well. If I see anything you guys are getting a boot, just want to let you guys know, just behave. Let's be professional here, guys.
That's right. Cool. That's right. I am trying to find that one picture, and I can't. But
yeah, I saw that one that you gave me.
Yeah, there was the other one I was looking for, but I got so many photos I can't find it. So go ahead. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, if analytics is against stolen bases, I would love to have a conversation with that person.
That might have changed though, because I know that's what it was early, maybe 5 years ago, something like that. Now with the new rule changes and everything, I'm guessing they probably have changed their mind, because you can't sit there and not take advantage of a pitcher only able to throw over twice. And I mean, you're just asking for people to be able to steal right now.
I think definitely if analytics is all about getting your pitch and hitting it, that's fine. I can somewhat agree with that. But when you have 2 strikes on you, all bets are off. Your job is to protect the plate, especially when you have men on. So if you're still in that, I'm looking for my pitch. Okay, so you're looking for a curve, and he throws a fastball right down the, and this is what I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing guys striking out, not on the breaking ball stuff. I'm seeing them strike out on fastballs right down the middle. They're not on the corners. They're right down the middle.
Right.
It says, hit me on it. You know what that tells me, guys? They're not looking for that pitch, and they don't know how to adjust. And that's not Major League Baseball. All throughout Little League, high school, the minors, you're taught, look for the fastball, adjust to the breaking ball. And I don't know what's going on right now. And this is what we've been talking about a little bit. Maybe in the Giants minor league system, maybe their hitting coaches are teaching a certain way, and that's why none of our everyday players are amounting to much. That's one thing I want to ask Anthony about. Like, what are they teaching with the Orioles? Because their guys come up and they can hit. Thank you very much. I picked up Mr. Cowser on Fantasy Baseball, and he is smashed for me.
Yeah, I bet.
Young guy. All the talk has been about Jackson Holiday, and here comes Cowsers.
I got Jackson on my team.
You got Jackson. He'll come around. He's a good hitter.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving him in there. Let him go.
He'll come around.
Yeah. So, the Anthony will be joining us with us just a bit. He's having a little issue with the camera, so we'll be with him. He'll be with us shortly, but. This game tonight, looking back at the Giants didn't make any errors. They played solid defense. Pitching was very solid, and they got the timely hits tonight, and that's why they won the game. That's why they won the game. Had Lee not got the 2-out hit to tie the game,
who knows what this would have been, right?
They probably would have lost. They probably would have lost because the Giants.
I don't know that damn Marlins bullpen.
Oh, that bullpen, boy. Yeah.
They're not balancing the smoke.
Yeah. Cabrera sure looked good, though.
Cabrera's filthy. I liked him since last year.
I thought they were starting 3 lefties. They originally, the
had
Marlins.
Puck in there, right?
They had Puck, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think the next 2 days are lefties, which you know what that means. Going to see maybe end up seeing Slater out there.
No, they're not. They're not platooning.
We'll see.
Every day, man.
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
So,
who's the Slusser does not like me. Woo! Anytime she says anything about the vets versus the young guys, here I come. It's like, oh shit, this guy Carlos again. Yep.
That's right. You know what, Robert? You're right. They had the errors. They had the errors on the throw to the plate that got away. That's right. And then they had I forgot. That's right. They had the Ahmed error. Thank you, Robert. I forgot about that. Ahmed's throw
to
Flores was in the dirt, and then they had the throw that got away that allowed the runners to move up, right? Yeah. I think that was it.
Isn't the fact that Ahmed has a weak arm, Dan? I mean, we're talking about he's only in there because he plays great defense. Doesn't his average to below average arm just knock him down to a good defender?
He's not great when you don't have a great arm.
Yeah, he can pick it great.
Yes,
he can scoop it up great. But I'm talking about
the throws,
that ball in the hole between the third base and the shortstop. He's not making that throw to throw somebody.
No, he's bouncing it every time.
No.
Yeah.
Crawford made that throw so he can pick it and has a cannon. So when I
lost my tab here. How can I get that at the bottom there?
Control 0, I think, or something, right?
Control 0?
I think or Control O or something.
Somebody in the chat. Yeah, it's hiding. It's starting to show up a little bit. Control O. No, that isn't it. I don't know what happened to I don't know why it does that. I can't.
Yeah. I think Ahmad is a good defensive shortstop. I don't think he's great because the arm keeps him from being great.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what happened to the thing here. I was going to.
You going to back? Did you need to back out for a minute?
Yeah. Let me see if we can. Try. Yeah, I need to.
Are you trying to tell him what to do with the settings?
Yeah, he's having issues with the. Oh, maybe it hits camera. You know what? You know how to walk him. Let me back out, but I can't. You're gonna have to put me in the green room.
Yeah, here we go.
And then bring me back in. I can't.
There we go. All right, cool. Getting some technical issues figured out here, guys. So Anthony Villa will be with us shortly.
Senior wants Fitzgerald 130 games at short. It's not going to happen, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but they should.
The perfect plan is what Dan had mentioned. Like he gets a start once in a while in left field. He gets a start once in a while at short. Maybe it gives Estrada a blow at second. He plays center. I mean, he needs to play. You need that bat and that speed in the lineup 4 to 5 times a week.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, oh, good. There we go. Cool. We're good. Let me bring Dan back. Dan knows how to come back in. All right, cool. But yeah, hey, I see you got it working now.
Yeah, we got it working. So, all right.
You want me to do any music? Want me to do some music?
Yeah, you got the thumbnail up there. You could put the overlay.
You want to put the overlay? Give me a second here to upload it.
Yeah, we'll bring that in, and I think we've got that coming. So
it's going to hide us for now, and then when we come back, we should all be in here.
All right, very good, guys.
All right, here we go.
All right, so we are joining us now from the Baltimore Orioles, the Director of Player Development, and best friends growing up and friends today. Anthony Villa joins us.
All right.
There he is.
Go.
Welcome, Anthony.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Anthony?
Sorry for some technical issues.
No, it's all good.
No worries. Anthony joins us from somewhere in the Midwest, as he's I believe he's on a scouting on assignment out there, huh?
Yeah, out and about. I was in Baltimore this morning and continuing to do a little traveling.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. So tell us. Let me just give everybody a little bit of intro about what you did. Anthony went to San Ramon Valley High School in San Ramon there, and then went on to play 4 years at St. Mary. Was it 4 years you played? Yeah.
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, graduated from St. Mary's.
4 years at St. Mary's, and was drafted in 2016 by the Chicago White Sox, and played 3 years in the White Sox organization. 1 year, I believe, you were MVP of the rookie league, right?
My second year after having to repeat rookie ball, happened to have a good season.
Yeah, well, hey, pro baseball is not easy.
Yeah, that's very true.
And yeah, you try. I can't even get in there and hit the stinking pitch from the batting cages, even when I know where it's coming anymore. But so Anthony, then after his pro baseball playing career ended, what happened then? You went to the Rangers, was it?
Yeah, transitioned from player to coach. Spent 1 year coaching in rookie ball in the Rangers organization, and then found my way over to Baltimore.
Okay, and then at Baltimore, you took on the same role as hitting instructor in the minor leagues?
Was a hitting coach, spent a few years as a hitting coordinator, and in a new role this year.
Okay, so you can take credit for Gunnar Henderson being rookie of the year last year.
I cannot take credit. I've had the good fortune of getting to work with Gunnar, awesome. As so many of our coaches have. You know, I think we've got a great bunch of people in the minor leagues helping shape these players. We hand them off to a great coaching staff up in the major leagues. And again, we got a lot of really good people in the organization we hope to work closely with and just try our hardest to support the player.
Awesome. Now, just going back to real quick with your days at St. Mary's, you played with Tony Gonsolin and Corbin Burns on the same team, right?
Yeah. Tony and I are the same class. Corbin Burns is the class below me, so played 3 seasons with him. It was fun to see him at spring training this year as he joined us with the Orioles, kind of reunited there. But we had some good talent on that team. Cool to see him do their thing in the major leagues.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, so did you ever face Burns in the box in college, just BP or?
Yeah, well, during fall ball for every school, you play a lot of inter squads. So had some showdowns against both Corbin and Tony, and I don't know what my numbers were against them, but probably not very good. I don't recall too many hits, so they've got some good stuff.
Yeah. Now Tony didn't he play right field a little bit at St. Mary's too?
He did, yeah.
He was a hitter, wasn't he?
He was a good hitter. He'd play right field. He'd come in and close games out. Occasionally, he'd have a spot start. But yeah, just a really good athlete.
Wow. And so tell us what life is like for people out there that are listening in. What's it like, playing rookie ball, just the whole, like the travel schedule? I mean, it's mostly buses, right?
Yeah, you're not flying from place to place until you get to AAA. And even then, there's still a fair amount of bus rides. The minor leagues is a really cool experience. It's something I'm sure a lot of fans aren't too familiar with because we watch the guys on TV and just kind of see what life in the big leagues looks like. But the minor leagues certainly preps you for the grind of playing, over 120 games. AA and AAA will play like 140, 150 games. You're bussing from city to city. You're on the late night schedule. So it's definitely not as glorious as the big leagues, but it really starts to shape you and prepare you for the challenges that are up ahead.
Now, when you were at the White Sox, did you come up with Luis Robert?
I spent a little bit of time with Luis Robert. He flew through the system, but played with me in low A for probably 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Was he just that much better than everybody?
Incredible talent? Yeah, I mean, a video game player, just all the tools. Again, flew through the system, got to the big leagues, and has been a really good big league player for them.
Yeah. So when you're instructing guys that are you working at all with anybody on the big club or mostly just the minor leaguers?
The role that I've been in and the new role I'm in now focuses on our minor league development, because we do have good relationships with a lot of those players that have graduated to the big leagues, still very much keeping connection with them. We have good relationships with the major league coaching staff and all just kind of work together to support those players. But my immediate day-to-day responsibilities are helping oversee the farm system.
Mm. Does it, do you find that working with the players, knowing that you played the game, does that help you translate when you're telling them, hey, you need to adjust this on your swing or that? Does that help versus guys that maybe come in that, I mean, I know some of the hitters maybe played the game in high school, but never in some organizations, guys are hitting instructors who really never made it past, at a higher level like you did. Does that help when you're talking to those guys?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, shared experience is always a positive. It helps build relationships. You have empathy for what the players are going through. You're able to relate to the journey that they're on. I will say, like, as player development continues to advance and with all the information that's available, we're seeing really good coaches come from a variety of backgrounds. And ultimately, like, what the player cares about is, how can you help me? And so you get coaches that come in with a lot of knowledge and really good personalities and vibe well with the players. And if they're able to continue to work with the player and help deliver the right information at the right time and connect with these guys, then there's a lot of different coaches from different backgrounds that have been really effective.
That's interesting because in 2021, us following the Giants, I was down at spring training and the veterans came in, Posey, Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, and it was the first year that some of the guys were being introduced to Donnie Ecker and Justin Veal. And let's see, you had a buddy that was with the Giants too. Who was that?
Yeah, Dustin Lind.
Dustin Lind, that's right.
I've gotten to get to know Dustin over the years and view him as a mentor. And I think those names that you've mentioned, as well as so many in the organization, have done a really nice job. They continue to spread their influence throughout the game. And it's been really cool to see player development take off over the last 5-10 years. And as more and more information becomes available, both in the big leagues and the minor leagues, you're seeing more and more coaches of different backgrounds really be able to get in and help players develop.
Yeah, that's interesting because as I was saying when I was there, I was just standing right behind the net and I was talking to Belt and they were looking at the iPads and this is their first look at analytics on and their swing and their launch angle and all these different things that they were looking at. And, it was pretty interesting to see those guys take in that information. And a couple of those guys had career years, Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford at the plate. And then it was interesting because then Donnie Ecker went to left and went, did he go straight to Texas or he went somewhere else in 22?
Texas. He went to Texas.
Okay. And then the Giants, some of their guys didn't have as good a years following up. And a lot of people said, hey, they really missed Donnie Ecker helping them at that,
yes, they do.
All those changes. So tell us, Anthony, what is your role? I mean, it's probably pretty vast. A director of player development. What's all on your plate and what's a day-to-day operation look like for you?
Yeah. I'm new in the role and still working to figure that out myself as well. It's been a lot of fun working with all departments, hitting, pitching, defense, strength and conditioning, just helping provide support to those departments, the coaches, the coordinators, make sure they feel they have a connection to front office and understand how players are being assessed and how rosters are being constructed and what our methods of player development are, how we go about practicing and improving players, sharing information, teaching, preparing them for games. And so it's just having hands on a little bit of everything to make sure that, systems are running smoothly in the minor leagues, and letting our coaches coach, our coordinators coordinate, and our really good people that we've brought in do really good things.
Los, Eric, you guys have any questions for Anthony?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Well, before I ask my question, I want to know who's responsible in the Orioles for getting launch licenses through the FAA, because Cedric Mullins, man, that diving catch, I don't know if you saw it. He had
I watched the game tonight.
That guy went flying through the air. I've never seen a diving catch like that before. That was incredible. Absolutely love that.
If you have the privilege to watch Cedric for 162 of them, you'll see quite a few jaw-dropping plays. He certainly made an incredible catch in the first inning tonight.
That was incredible. Kind of speaking to what you were just talking about, can you talk to us about how imperative it is for the ownership, the front office, the coaches, all to be on the same page when they're trying to accomplish the goals that you guys want as an organization? Because everyone's got to be on the same page. And I just want to know, within the Baltimore Orioles, what do you think is the biggest what do you want to say, advantage that you guys think you have over maybe other clubs?
Yeah, we're a little bit of a smaller market team with just a really good group of people that work close together, whether it be scouting or player development, front office, baseball operations, analytics. There's a lot of different departments, but we really try hard to make sure we're communicating soundly with each other. And with that, you're offering different perspectives and trying to figure out what the right way to ultimately get information to a player and change behavior on field is. And, we feel like we've done a good job and continue to push to be better and making sure that we're really sound with how we come together and deliver information to a player.
Communication, that's the key.
Communication. And it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to try and carry out the actions of it, because it certainly takes a grand effort.
We were talking a little bit before you came onto the show just about the approach with some teams with analytics now. It's pretty heavy. I mean, it's always been in the game. Ned Colletti, former general manager of the LA Dodgers, is a friend of the show and joins us pretty frequently. And he said he wrote a book on analytics, basically. He said he believed in analytics back in the day, in the 90s and baseball, but it wasn't talked about as much. But analytics have always existed, but there's been more of a focus on it in more recent years. And it's like you mentioned with the development of players. What is the approach with analytics? Does it differ from organization to organization, you think, or do you think it's pretty much a standard what the teams are doing when it comes to approach? Mostly when it comes to hitting, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't speak too much for other organizations and how they run their departments. I feel pretty confident in saying that with where we're at in the game, every organization is utilizing analytics to some degree. Really, all it is just gathering information to just try and make the most informed decision and the most sound communication possible to a player. And, we are, I guess, approaching about a decade now of having TrackMan be a thing in Major League Baseball. 2015 was the first year where every stadium had TrackMan giving us information on how the ball is being pitched, how the ball's coming off the bat. And with that, just gave us a lot better insights on what's going on. That then trickles down into the minor leagues, and we're seeing that information be pretty useful.
Interesting. Now, when it comes to what's the philosophy when it comes to hitting with two strikes? I see a lot of players today more than I've been watching the game since the late 60s. So, but we see a lot of guys taking called strike three, especially I see it a lot with the Giants, but it's just, all over baseball. Is it guys are guessing more, or are they, because it seemed like in the older days, guys would just try and foul off a pitch if it wasn't their pitch, just because they would be like, hey, I got fooled, but I'm going to just somehow foul it off, wait for another pitch. But guys today, it's just constant strike three right down the middle, just frozen bat. Why is that happening more, do you think? Is it approach to hey, if it's not your pitch, don't swing, just take it? Or is it guys are just guessing and getting fooled?
Hard to say. I mean, the game continues to evolve and go through these ebbs and flows. I think one thing that's important to note is just the depth of pitching across the league. Everyone that's running out of the bullpen is 95 plus with a wicked slider and good off speed. The average velocity of starting pitching continues to climb. It's like 94 miles an hour now. Just the way that pitchers have continued to change strategy puts hitters in a different way to have to figure out like what is the best way to optimize for scoring runs. And striking out is never fun. It certainly looks bad to the fans too. But over the years, like people that have been assessing the strategic changes of the game have seen strikeouts have risen, so have home runs. It's kind of kept run production at a steady mark. So there's always like this give and take, right? With any game, whether you're playing baseball or football or a board game, there's going to be strategies where there's give and take. And so, in those moments where a hitter may look fooled, that's just kind of the instance of give and take.
Yeah. I know it's like you said, you make a good point when it talks about the bullpen, guys that are facing somebody different all the time. I mean, that does make a big difference because I know your dad's listening, and I never liked to hit off of him when I played against him, but I always liked it when I got at least, I knew I was going to face him at least 3 times in a 6 or 7 inning game. So it was a matter of one of the times the more I saw of him, that fastball was straight and I could hit it. But he got me more times than not. But I got him a couple times.
There we go. My dad needed to work on his old pitch mix. But no, exactly what you're saying though. Like the more you face someone, the more comfortable you are, and we see that the more times through the order, the higher probabilities shift in favor of the hitter. And so again, the strategy of the game continues to evolve, and it's fun to watch these really talented players out on the field play this chess game with each other.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I would imagine you're getting up a brand new first time seeing a guy come in throwing 97, wicked splits and sliders, and then it really is. Is it a guessing game when you're up there off these guys at this point? Or, I mean,
so against some of them, yeah. I mean, again, watching as much Orioles baseball as I do, if you're facing Felix Bautista and you see what the numbers are against the splitter, like you're praying for fastballs or you're guessing when the splitter's coming, because clearly it seems like there's not too much success to be had. And so, sometimes the good strategy does seem to be like rolling the dice, because the probabilities of good events occurring just aren't great. And
wow,
it's absolutely amazing how good these players are.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I know the major league batting average is now 248. So back then, when in the day growing up, if a guy was hitting 248, he pretty much was on the bench or out of a job. You had a couple guys, that you can hit. But I mean, right now, the Giants line up 6 guys in their lineup with career batting averages under 243. So, I mean, that's tough. So, would you see guys hitting closer to 300 today? They are really good hitters I mean, it's amazing. But now, were you at the game the other night when Jackson Holliday got his first big league hit?
I was not. I was tuning in on my phone. I was with our high A team, continuing to check in across the minor leagues, but super stoked for Jackson. What a cool moment. Really happy that he's up there and getting opportunities, and we're just really proud about how he carries himself.
Yeah. I mean, the organization is just spitting out guys younger. I mean, what is he? He just turned 20, right?
He turned 20. Yeah, he'll play this entire season at 20 years old.
Wow. And is he by nature a shortstop? I know they're playing him at second, but is his best position shortstop or?
Yeah, drafted as a shortstop. Really talented shortstop. You know, we have Gunnar Henderson playing shortstop right now, and in order for Jax to get in the lineup, he's playing second base. Again, incredible athlete. I'm sure he could play anywhere really, but it's been awesome to see him in the lineup.
Wow. Go ahead, Los.
Anthony, just a few questions. First of all, big time props to you and your comrade there in the Orioles organization. You've built up a great farm system and a great base. I'm old school and thinking that you build your team through the draft and you mix in pieces with free agents, not the other way around. So big time props to you guys. My first question is about confidence in a young player. You had a guy like Colton Cowser come up, a lot of hoopla surrounding him, and he struggled last year, and he didn't do well. But the players and the coaching staff in the front office believed in him, and he's just absolutely smashing right now as we speak. So, did we lose him?
I think we might have lost him.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Yeah, hold that thought.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
I'll pick it up. Yeah.
I think there's.
Isn't that so ironic? Me, the guy that has internet issues, and I finally get a question in.
There we go.
I'm back. I'm following.
No worries.
I'm following. You're talking about Colton Cowser and his journey a little bit.
Well, yeah, and just not necessarily Colton. I mean, I'm just kind of using him as an example, but just how important it is from the mental side of baseball. Like, baseball is a very, very difficult. You could be a stud in high school, a stud in college, and you get to that major league level and you get a reality check, and it's so easy and quick to get down on yourself. And it just seems like some organizations are really good about keeping the confidence of the player, so when they get another chance, they can succeed. And that seems to be the case with Cowser. So is that something that, I mean, it's kind of common sense, but that's just something that the Orioles organization just like really, really instills a lot of confidence in their young players, even when they're struggling?
We're trying, as I'm sure every team is. Like, it's more common for a player to get to the big leagues and struggle than it is for them to get to the big leagues and just light the world on fire. It's such a big jump. You're playing against the best of the best. And, something we do talk about a lot in the minor leagues is that we learn through struggles and failures. And just a testament to our coaches preaching the message, a testament to our kids for embracing it and being A+ caliber kids. Your mental toughness and mental strength certainly get tested throughout the minor leagues. And while there's no full preparation for the big leagues, you do have to go up there and learn through the school of hard knocks. We've had some guys reference that, hey, I've gone through this in the minor leagues and I'm going through it right now, and I believe in myself and believe in my process and my work, and I'll work through this.
Anthony, what is the difference at AAA level versus the big leagues? It seems to be, to me, obviously the big leagues, everybody's talented. In AAA, you got some guys that aren't going to make it, but it's pretty close. Is it more mental for guys than the physical when they're struggling in the big leagues?
I mean, there's certainly a mentality component to having to adjust to the big leagues, but I'll say this. I had it explained to me like this, and I thought it was a pretty good explanation. AAA, incredibly difficult level, really, really talented baseball players. But the window in which those baseball players exist is sort of like between AA and the big leagues. Like once you get to the big leagues, there's no more levels to climb. And so you have guys that are in the big leagues that are career big leaguers. If we were to almost split the big leagues up into more levels, they would be like major league plus plus plus. And you have some guys that are like major league plus plus. And then, you have like your newcomers to the big leagues. But because there's no more levels to climb, it's one thing to face the best arm in AAA. It's another thing to go up. And if you're facing the fifth man in the rotation versus the ace, like that's a very significant test. And if there were, in a sense, like more levels to climb, then that ace would be at a higher level where you wouldn't quite face him yet.
Oh, I see. That makes a lot of sense. So the fifth starter is like the ace in AAA, basically.
Yeah, it's a way you could look at it. It's just, like you're going to the big leagues or I should say, like when you're in the minor leagues, everyone is sort of plus or minus a couple years within like your peer group. Now all of a sudden you're in the big leagues and you're going up against guys that have had careers, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year careers in the big leagues. And it's like, oh man, you truly are going up against the best of the best that have experienced their season. And it's just an incredible test.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because I was listening to a game the other night, and they were talking about a young guy. It was one of the Giants announcers, Mike Krukow, and he said, the toughest part is not making it to the big leagues. It's sticking in the big leagues, because a lot of guys get there and then they have a little dance and then they go back down and they never see the big leagues again.
Really, really tough. Yeah. It's as we've had some of our players get called up to the big leagues, we've been seeing this fun stat just on how many major leaguers there truly are. And it's like, if you took the smallest capacity stadium, which I believe is Cleveland, it would only be filled at like 60 or 70% capacity. That's how few big leaguers there have been over the course of Major League Baseball.
Over hundreds, over 100 and what, 50, whatever it is. My goodness. Wow.
Yeah, just incredible, the talent that it takes to get up there and then stick up there and have a career.
Yeah. Who was the toughest pitcher you ever faced in the minors or college that is a recognizable name today?
Boy, put me on the spot with that one. That's tough. I didn't play to too high of a level either, so yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think for a moment. I mean, Corbin Burns back in the college days was pretty dang good, and again to see him be an absolute ace in the league is really, really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, you playing at that level. I remember getting hit by baseballs in Little League or, Babe Ruth and stuff like that. And anytime you get hit with a ball, it doesn't feel good. But what's it like getting hit with a 90+ mile an hour fastball?
Yeah, not fun. There's a reason why you're seeing these guys get out of the way.
My goodness. I mean,
what's it like?
Well, I mean, it's gotta. I mean, you see guys get hit and it hurts, but they don't even show it. I mean, I'd be sitting there like doubled over, man.
Some real tough dudes playing the game up there. It's a physical game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people really realize. The average fan, we're watching a game on TV monitor and seeing guys missing fastballs right down the middle. And it's like, how could you not hit that? Well, it's, you try and go in there. It's like,
yeah, we have some fun with this one because, the players are competitive and have like incredible self-belief. But at the same time, like you have to acknowledge how hard the skill is. And a stat that is really interesting is if you were to look at just like fastballs, middle, and guess what the most common occurrence is, like a swing and miss, a foul ball, a ball in play, a foul ball is more common than a ball in play. And so like, I'm guilty of this too. The further removed from playing, the easier the game looks. And you're watching these guys and it's like, oh man, I was right down the middle. How'd you miss? And it's like, well, it's really, really hard. And it's a really physical game. And, if you were to take a step back and assess it, there's a lot more failure than there is success.
Right. It's one game if you fail 70% of the time and you play long enough and you fail 70% of the time, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty amazing
to think about.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Anthony, I'm sorry.
No,
Anthony,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm pretty familiar with most of the prospects in different organizations. The one name on the Orioles that I don't know too much about, maybe you can talk a little bit about him, is Enrique Bradfield. Like, what is his path to the big leagues, and how far is he away, and what's really special about him?
The guy I wanted the Giants to draft.
Yeah, I remember that during this. Yep.
He's a speed guy, right?
Yeah.
He's very fast, incredible center fielder. We drafted him out of Vanderbilt with our first pick in last year's draft. And, you watch him play, he's a guy that defends out in center field with the best of them. Offensively, puts a ton of pressure on the defense with his ability to control the strike zone and draw walks, his ability to put the ball in play and be incredibly fast. Once he's on base, he can steal bases. So he's got a lot of skills that, make him an exciting player.
We talked a lot on the show, and you mentioned it a few minutes ago about how the game has evolved, how it's changed, how it's become more power, less batting average. And it just seems like the Orioles do a really good job at taking prospects that they're good hitters. They're just good, get the ball in the bat hitters, situational hitters, batting average hitters. And, that's, again, kudos to you guys, because like the game is such a power driven league right now. And it's so reliant on the long ball that it seems like a lot of your prospects, they have an idea very well knowing what they're doing with the bat.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to be productive. We have some players that fit the profile of being sluggers, and we have some players that fit the profile of being more contact oriented. We have guys that fit the profile of really controlling the strike zone. Ultimately, we're trying to make you the best version of yourself. And with that, it takes all departments to be able to share their information and assess the profile of the player and make sure the player feels involved in their developmental journey. And, there's a lot of different routes to the big leagues. Everyone certainly has a different story of how they got there.
And just kind of in follow up in that, when we mention analytics and the reliance upon it being used in baseball, has the old fashioned baseball scout, is that an extinct thing, or does that still exist heavily in the minor league system? At least with the Orioles, going town to town and looking at guys as far as drafting them.
Yeah, I would say that scouting is certainly a bloodline component to the game. Just the blend of scouting and analytics. And again, we're just trying to gather all of the information available to make informed decisions.
Right.
Now, are guys, you see guys coming out of college, like Brett, Enrique, coming out of Vanderbilt. Do guys that are coming out of programs like that, we see Florida with Wyatt Langford, he comes up drafted last summer, and now he's in the big leagues. Are we going to see more of that? You think guys that are coming out of college straight to the majors pretty quickly within the first year of being drafted?
Yeah, I'm not sure. those are some pretty incredible names that you mentioned. And I think with every draft class, you have your outliers, and those guys that go in those early picks are certainly incredible talents. It also depends on where that major league team is, where that organization is at the time being. And, it takes more than just skill to get to the big leagues. It takes luck and opportunity, and you just have to hope that all of those things kind of align together for you to get your shot.
Yeah.
Yes. To talk about, you're talking about how developing players now, you got a lot of new technology out there that's helping, develop some of these guys. Is AI starting to, rear its head in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I'm not a computer whiz myself, so I can't personally speak to, anything that I'm installing. But yeah, like as technology continues to advance, organizations are looking to leverage it.
I bet.
Yeah. So what is the trajectory? Does the player determine more the trajectory of his movement through the system, or does the organization have a plan in place where they'd like to see a guy move? Like, for example, Enrique Bradford, do you see him as what level is he at right now in the organization?
He's in high A right now.
High A. Okay. That's where a lot of guys seem to do. Most organizations, you start your guys at A and then go to high A, your top draft picks. I know a lot of the lower draft picks start in rookie ball, but we're seeing more guys that are starting at A ball that are the first round, second round picks. Even high school guys are starting, some of them at A, but for the most part, they start at rookie, right? Then go all the way through.
Yeah, it depends on the organization. It depends on the age of the player. The minor leagues did take on a little different look post COVID with minor
that's
league.
Right. They cut some teams, didn't they?
Yeah, so there used to be like rookie ball and then advanced rookie ball or short season A is what it was called. And then you would have low A, high A, double A, triple A. So they did cut a level. And so with that, you might see some organizations that are putting newly drafted players right into what feels like a level higher because there isn't that short season anymore.
Okay. Now, how I mean, I know it's going to depend a lot of the times just on the production of the player, but is there an ideal level when you draft a guy and put him in A that you'd like to see him go through the system and get to the majors as far as a timeline?
Yeah, I mean, advancement certainly depends on how well the player is playing.
Right.
With that, there are time frames for which a player has to be added to the 40-man roster. They become Rule 5 eligible, or minor league free agents. Like there are different moments in time where the status of a player becomes different. Again, from like a front office perspective, you are having to make decisions on players because of the timeline in which they've been in the organization.
Right. So if guys aren't really producing and you don't see a path forward for them, that's when basically they just get a release, right? They just get their release and their become a free agent, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a draft every year and players that are coming in and players that are going out, and it's extremely competitive. Again, we talked earlier in the show just how hard it is to make it to the big leagues. Like that competition keeps coming every year.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you seeing with the advancement of technology and travel ball, are you seeing players coming in more prepared than they were, say, when you were playing?
I think so. Again, people watch Major League Baseball and are taking note of, okay, this is what it takes to get to the big leagues. And that starts to trickle its way on down into the minor leagues and into college and into high school and travel ball baseball. And, so if you're noticing that it takes being able to throw hard as a pitcher, because that's what the big leagues is showing, then you start to see higher velocities in the minor leagues and in college and high school. And the same thing with, power development as a hitter. And so, everyone's always looking to see what's going on at the highest level and then build their skills accordingly. And so I think players absolutely are coming in prepared, just with more access to everything.
Now, you just mentioned velocity uptick, and we're seeing a huge uptick in Tommy John, surgeries with the UCL ligament. Do you see the emphasis on higher velocity at, even like we said, travel ball and going into high school and college? Do you think does that have any correlation along with the pitch clock? Do you see any correlation there at all?
I think there's just a multitude of factors that go into it. I'm certainly not the expert in the room to be able to use strong language and saying that this is what the cause is, but pitchers are throwing hard. There's different strategy in pitching now. There's players that are throwing more and more from a younger age. I'm sure there's a bunch of other reasons that people could express that are leading to, these guys being right at the edge of their capabilities and really like impressive talents. But it comes with some risk. Being a professional at anything comes with some risk.
I always joke, Anthony, that with everybody throwing 96, 98, that if a couple of organizations just find that knuckleballer or two, talk about throwing these guys' timing off, because that's all that messing up hitting is messing about timing, and you're throwing that 67, 72 mile an hour knuckleball. Boy, that's going to mess things up. That'll buy you 2 or 3 innings to get to the closer.
Yeah, certainly would be an outlier appearance.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. By any chance, does Cal Ripken come to the yard much? And have you ever had a chance to like pick his brain one-on-one?
I've never met Cal Ripken personally. Again, I'm also not with the major league team often, or
gotcha.
at Camden Yards all too often. I try to be when I can, but I spend most of my time with the minor league teams.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and how many levels of minor leagues do you have to travel to?
So we have 6 different levels, 7 teams across those 6 levels. I do try to get everywhere as often as possible. Just love being around and seeing our people, and it makes it a lot of fun. So my travels will consist of being our minor league teams, which fortunately are all pretty local to the Baltimore area. We have 3 of them in Maryland and 1 in Virginia. And then our rookie ball is at the spring training complex in Florida. And then we have 2 teams down in the Dominican Republic. And it's a lot of fun to get down there.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, is there a player that when you started with the organization that you saw for the first time and said, that guy's going to make it? Is there a player in mind that you've seen that's maybe already arrived, that you just saw him play and said, he's got it?
I mean, I'm very lucky. Some of the first players that I got to interact with were Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. Extremely lucky to get to jump right in with, these really talented players that, we've had some really nice draft classes over the years. I will say though, like every player has their journey, and every player comes in and is working on something. And, We don't believe that anyone is a finished product. Even our guys in the big leagues now, like, they're still continuing to refine their game and develop and feel confident in saying that the Adley Rutschmans and the Gunnar Hendersons that you see right now, like, they're going to continue to get better.
Nice.
Right.
Are you part of the when you guys have the draft in the summer? Are you part of that? So the group that will look at players. So who you guys want to draft?
A little bit. Again, that would be like scouting and draft operations. But like I said earlier, a healthy organization has inputs from a lot of different departments, and we try to be in good communication. So when asked, I'll give my opinions.
Now, so you see young players coming up, and a lot of Giants fans here, being NorCal Sports Network, and we do Giants coverage. Did you get a chance to see any of last year's first round pick of the Giants, Bryce Eldridge?
I did not. No, okay. I don't know much about him. I know he's a two-way player, and that's certainly
they
exciting.
Pretty much they took the two-way off of him and just made him a hitter. I think the whole experiment kind of ended when Shohei got his second Tommy John, and they knew this guy was a hitter. So they just said, hey, look, the path forward to you, the big leagues, is they didn't want to alter that or slow it down. So they made him a hitter. But, that particular draft, there was, a lot of, we've already seen, Wyatt Langford get called up.
Paul Skeens is probably
going to get a call up.
Paul Skeens is throwing the ball very well in AAA.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think
he's built like a starting pitcher.
Yeah, 6'6". Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah, Dylan Cruz was in that draft last year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, he's the second pick to the Nationals, and he's in AA right now. Yeah, there's some serious talent in that draft class.
Well, yeah, it seems to me, just based on, and I asked this a little bit earlier of you, it seems like the talent level is getting deeper. As I don't, what would you attribute that to? Would you just more access to with travel ball going on all across the country more now, or because back in my day, gosh, we didn't have any travel ball. If there was, I wasn't good enough to find out about it.
Yeah. If we were to operate with the assumption that the drafts are continuing to churn out more ready major league talent or quicker to develop major league talent, then I think you could make some conclusions that players are playing more baseball growing up from a younger age. They've got more access to modern training techniques, strength and conditioning, better information, more access to watch Major League Baseball and hear from players and coaches with media coverage. And I think everything just continues to evolve as there's more and more access.
Yeah. Now you're with AA. Somebody just put something in the chat. The Giants you're in with Richmond?
We are, yeah. The only Giants affiliate that our minor league teams play is in the AA Eastern League.
Okay, so tell us about the AA level versus, leaving high A going into AA. Some people say if you can hit in the Eastern League for average, which is a pitcher's league, right? Pretty much,
it kind of depends on the ballpark that you're in.
Okay, but if you can excel at the AA level, you may have a path to the big leagues. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's always hard to assess, level to level. It changes over the years, the players that are rolling through the league, but I'd feel comfortable in saying that everyone that's on the field in AA has a very real chance to find their way to the big leagues. They've shown skill sets that have gotten them into the upper minor leagues, and it's an extremely competitive level. And, if you continue to play well there and luck and opportunity show their way, then you are very close to getting your chance. And there's been players that have been called up from AA straight to the big leagues. Junior Caminero with the Rays last year, got called up from AA and played with the Rays in the big leagues and then in the postseason. So, yeah, the talent in AA is very strong. It's an extremely competitive level.
Wow. You probably didn't know this, but I've been with AAA for many years. I mean the Auto Club, AAA.
Yeah.
The one that tows your car.
Anthony.
Wow, Dan.
Yeah, it was going so well until that.
It was.
Yeah,
it was
AAA.
so well.
That's as high as I got. AAA. But, yeah.
Anthony, I'm curious to get your opinion about what do you think about the art of switch hitting? It seems, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it's kind of a dying art. Like there's just not as many switch hitters in baseball. You're obviously around the minor leagues, obviously a lot. When you draft a kid and he's been a switch hitter his whole life, is it necessarily, not giving away secrets or anything, do you think it's something along the lines where organizations are finding out, look, kid, you hit better left, just stay left? Or do they kind of, if they want to hit, both ways, let them go both ways? Because I don't know, it just seems like there's less of them nowadays. And I don't know if that's starting in the minors where they're discouraging to do it or not. Just speculating here.
Yeah, I mean, switch hitting's incredibly challenging. Hitting already is hard enough, and you put so much time and effort into your swing and your skill and your craft. Now having to, in a sense, double that to get quality work in from both sides. Plus, you're going to face, say, 70% right-handed pitching and only 30% left-handed pitching. Okay. So the opportunity of repetitions isn't equal. We have some switch hitters on our major league team that are extremely talented. We also have an example of a guy that stopped switch hitting in Cedric Mullins and, just started to go left on left. And so it's a unique case for everyone. You're certainly trying to assess how they are from both sides of the plate. You really do treat them like two players offensively and try to make your assessments and hear how comfortable the kid is feeling from both sides and continue to develop there.
Right. No, it's interesting because, right on right seemingly was no big deal growing up playing the game, but left on left, because you just didn't see a lot of left-handers as far as pitchers. And then you're a left-handed hitter and you just see that sweeping curve and just it buckles you. So yeah, that's a good point. You don't see too many of them.
Yeah. I don't know how guys do it, switch hitting. I mean, heck, it's like you said, it's hard enough to hit in one way, but to face some of these guys that with their nasty stuff, late innings, and all of a sudden you're going to, flip around. I get it if you're flipping around to your better side. Usually very few pinch hitters are pretty consistent with both sides. They have usually a strong side and a weaker side. But, Pete Rose was one of the better pinch hitters in history. I mean, he hit both right and left. But, usually the splits are pretty drastic.
Technically, it's supposed to give you the advantage because if you're a good switch hitter, you never have to deal with a breaking ball breaking away from you.
Right.
It's always break into you. So from the analytical point of view, like you don't deal with breaking balls, going away because like we talk about, like today's hitters sometimes doesn't like to go the opposite way. They like to try to pull that outside pitch. So that's always been the thought, but you're right. It is like Anthony said, it's very hard to hit one way, but two ways, my God, that's a whole different talent skill.
Right. So is there I'm looking at the Orioles system right now, and we see Kobe Mayo. He's at AAA right now, right?
Yep.
And did Kowser's up and Holiday's up, Hurstad's up too, right? Or is he still down? No, he's down.
Kerstad's with our AAA team at the moment.
Right. But there's one other one that came up. He's playing short or third. Forgetting the name now.
Jordan Westberg?
Westberg. Yeah. Is he still up with you guys?
He's with the major league team.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, imagine guys that come up together like that as they play together in the minors. It's just got to be a great feeling for the organization to have what is there, 5 or 6 of them right now? I mean, you got Richmond, you got Henderson, Holiday, Kauser, Westberg. I mean, and then you got in the pipeline, you got guys like Mayo and Herstad, and I mean, gosh, I mean, it's like, is there a point where there's just not enough room, right, for the guys? And but that's a good thing to have, because then if you have to, you hate to talk about guys getting traded, but that's part of big league ball. Guys find an opportunity in another organization to bring in maybe an area of need, right? I mean, that's the power of having a great farm system.
Yeah, we certainly feel like we have a lot of talent, both in the big leagues and on the farm right now. It's been really fun to watch these guys come up together and grow up together. And you hear it in their post-game interviews. These guys really love each other and enjoy playing with each other. And Westberg had a good game in Boston the other day. And in the post-game, he said, we're just having a lot of fun. It's been fun to get to play out here with the guys that I went through the trenches with in the minor leagues, and we're all enjoying each other. And, we think that's important, just that camaraderie that they've built with each other as they've gone through the system and are playing in the big leagues now.
The unit cohesion. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is really cool to see, because, you want to see your fellow teammate succeed and as guys move up together. It is. I mean, these guys are together 6-8 months of the year, right? I mean, they're more like they spend more time with each other than they practically do with their families.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the people that you're working with in professional baseball are absolutely your family, because there's a good chance you're going to see them more than your true family.
Yeah, because the season. I mean, we see spring training start, mid to late February, and the season ends early October if you don't make the playoffs. If you're like the Orioles, you're hoping to play till almost November. But I mean, but it doesn't just start there, right? I mean, it's off season training at the facilities in Florida or Arizona, wherever the team's at. And I mean, we had Casey Schmidt, who is with the Giants. He's down in AAA now. We had him on the show just before spring training, but he was down. I think it was January. Did we have him on in January, Eric, or was it early February?
I think I thought it was in December, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, but he was down at the facilities working on his swing, So, I mean, guys are together almost year round, right? I mean, maybe there's a month or two where they're on their own, but.
Yeah. There's guys that are taking their off season to be at home. There's quite a few guys that are training, what feels like year round. And as you said, the season, when you factor in spring training and postseason, like it's a long year. So it's important to get along with everyone in the clubhouse and have that good team vibe and, feel energized when you come to the ballpark every day.
Yeah, it's interesting because baseball, to me, there's the 3 major sports. I mean, and there's hockey too, but you look at baseball and then you look at football and then you look at basketball. In the playoffs, there's series in each sport, but in baseball, there's this big champagne celebration for winning the pennant, getting into the playoffs, and then you win the one round and there's another celebration, and then you win another round and there's another celebration, because it's so hard and it's such a a feeling of accomplishment because you've grinded together for so long that you see these teams, even if they're up by, we watch the Dodgers, up by 10, 12 games, 15 games, and they win the division. There's still a huge relief and celebration. Is that just, you think, because it's such a grind and it's such a long mental battle?
Yeah,
as
combination of things. It is. It's such a grind. You've got to celebrate those victories and those accomplishments. It's amazing to get into the playoffs, to win a division, to win each playoff series. I think there's a really cool article that was written probably around the playoffs last year. You could go looking for it, but they took the four major sports and they said the NBA has the highest win probability for the number one seeds or the higher ranked seeds. I think it's like about 80% of the time the higher seed wins the series in the NBA. And so they were like, what would the number of games played in the series have to be in these other sports to match sort of that 80% win probability? And in baseball, I want to say that the article said it's like best of 75.
75.
Best of 75?
Well, and think about it. Like it does make sense because the season is so long for a reason. The war of attrition, and over the course of 162 in the aggregate, the better team wins out. But you're really you're playing to get into the playoffs, and then you're on the dance floor, and it's very lucky once you're in, and it's not always the higher seed that wins.
Right.
It's a combination of being a good team and again, luck and who seizes opportunities. But yeah, I thought that was fascinating when they said
best of 75. Wow.
If other sports were to try to capture an 80% win probability for the higher seed, how long would that series have to go in order to allow for that? And baseball being something along the lines of, best of 75, you're looking at like half a season. But you do see that kind of reflect in the standings. There's a lot of change in the standings in April and May, and then June, things maybe start to solidify a little more. But, there's still some shakeup right around the All-Star break and coming out of the All-Star break. So it's, getting back to the point of celebrating, like you got to take those moments and celebrate them because there's just so much work and luck and just things going your way in order for it to really work out.
Yeah. I mean, there was a stat, I was trying to find it here on my phone, but the all-time win-loss record with the Giants and Dodgers, one of the greatest rivalries, it's in 2,584 games, or it was, well, I'm not sure how many. 1,280 for the Giants and 1,273 for the Dodgers. So your theory of 100 or whatever it was, 75. I mean, they played over 2,500 games, and there's a difference of 17 games that win-loss. So it's
it's incredible. I mean, growing up in the Bay Area, and when the Giants were on those World Series runs, how many of them came as the Giants getting into the playoffs as a wild card team?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Again, like you're spending your efforts to win the 162 and get into the playoffs. And once you're in, anything can happen.
One of the things that's interesting to me, and I wanted to get your thought on this, being that, you're in the game now and fresh out of playing the game. If you didn't have a live at bat against in game for 6 days, does that really throw off your timing?
Yeah, it's certainly challenging. Playing regularly would help you stay calibrated. If you're not playing regularly, then You need to make sure that practice is servicing kind of those game-like exposures. So it's one of those things where, like guys continue to develop their skills playing night in, night out.
Because I had this, I don't want to say it's a theory, but an idea of correcting the playoffs. Last year, we saw the Dodgers get bounced in the first round with the best record, and the Braves lost. They were the best teams in the National League last year, but then they had to wait till I think the weekend, Friday or Saturday, after finishing the season on a Sunday. They had to wait for the wild card round of 3 games to be played. To me, 162 has to mean something. It used to be in the day where you won the division, you went straight to the World Series. There was no playoffs. And then there was one round. They started in the 70s with one round, or late 60s, after they did away with just winning. There was 12 teams in the National League, 12 in the American. The winner went to the World Series. Then they did divisions, and you had to win one round, 5-game series. Now it's like you got to win if you're not a division winner, you got to win the 3, then the 5-game series, then the 7-game. But it seems to me in baseball, there is, in any sport, there's momentum. But the teams in baseball that go 162, they have to wait 5-6 days before they play a game. How about, I mean, it's not going to happen, but it's something I throw out that I think would be an interesting way. I think that the teams that don't win the division, they should, because there's 2 teams that get a bye. I think the other team should have to play 3 games as they're doing right now, all in one city, but they should do a double hitter and get those guys playing Monday, 1 game, Tuesday, a double hitter to finish it, and let them bring up a couple more players because you need more pitching for the double hitter. Let them have, instead of 26 man, give them 28-man roster or whatever, but get that. And then the series ends on Tuesday, and because you probably shouldn't have been in the playoffs anyway, now you got to fly and play Wednesday and Thursday, the first 2 games on the road. Then there's a day off. To me, that is incentive for winning a division because, frankly, the way things are going, I don't mind getting into a wild card and playing a 3-game series, because if I've got solid pitching and I'm going to have to play the mighty Braves or the Dodgers or maybe it's the Orioles I'm facing, I want to throw three good aces at them. What do you think of something like that? I mean, is that even? Baseball will never do it just because of the logistics, but to me, it seems like it's got to help. You got to do something to help the top seed. I'm just talking about the top 2 seeds in each league.
Yeah, I don't know. Reshaping playoffs in any sport is always a fun and popular topic of conversation. Look at college football and all the stir that it's gotten with, the former BCS system and now the college football playoff. As it pertains to Major League Baseball, I think it's fresh on people's minds because, the Orioles were the 1 seed in the American League and we lost to the Rangers. The Braves were the 1 seed in the National League and they lost. The Dodgers were division winners and they lost. And so it raises the question. I don't know what the right answer is. Certainly the playoffs are entertaining and the fans love it. And it's awesome for the sport. The month of October is so thrilling. And all those fan bases of the teams that get in are just on the edge of their seats, live and die by every moment. And, I think that that's a worthy thing to capture.
And speaking of fans, Baltimore, man, you guys have generated a huge fan base with your young guys coming up, and not just coming up, but coming up and producing. It's really I can't even say the word.
Reinvigorating.
Yes, thank you. They did that to the fan base. It's awesome to see. You know, it kind of reminded me of, again, with the Giants run during the World Series years.
It's been really cool to see Camden Yards pack the house, and you know, we greatly appreciate the way that our fans have supported our players, supported our prospects. You know, having gone to Orioles games now for a couple of years of being with the club, it was fun sitting in the seats and listening to people talk about, you know, how so-and-so playing down on the farm. You know, the fans have always been invested up and down this organization. They knew that there was exciting players in the farm during the years where the major league team may not have been as good. It's been amazing to see this rebuild continue to shine the way that it has, you know, the way that Mike Elias laid it out. And yeah, we love our fan base. We love how they come and support our players, and we've had really great crowds this year. Hope
that's awesome. That's awesome. What level is it? Just AAA that the automatic strike zone, or is it all levels now?
It is AAA, and then I believe there is one league in high A, or low A, down in Florida, that has the infrastructure to support it because they play at like the spring training complexes.
Okay. Do you see it come into the major leagues soon?
I don't know. It's certainly a hot topic of discussion. I know that they've been doing it in AAA to continue to refine it and test it out. I think it's very interesting. But yeah, I don't know what the conversations look like as far as, is it coming to the major leagues next year, you know, in the near future, or what? But yeah, it's cool that Major League Baseball continues to try and advance.
Yeah. How about the pitch clock? Is it the same in the minors, the 15 and 18, or that the majors has now?
In the minor leagues, the pitch clock is 15 and 18. It's reduced game times and certainly like put a very good pace to the games. I think that fans would, you know, express the sentiments that it's been a good thing for the entertainment value of baseball. And again, it's cool to see Major League Baseball investing in the minor leagues and trying these things.
How do the players feel about the pitch clock?
It took a little getting used to, but over time the players like it, you know, like just keep the pace going.
Interesting.
And I'm guessing the younger guys have probably adapted a little bit better than the older guys because they're used to it in the minors.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone adapts a little differently. You know, I was just in low A with our low A team, and we had some pitch clock violations because, you know, they don't have the pitch clock at the rookie ball level. So they get up to low A, and it's their first experience with it, and you're having to learn how to process the emotions that go on from pitch to pitch and do that in a little bit shortened of a time window now. And it's fun to see that type of learning take place at the lower levels.
And to kind of piggyback on that, with the ABS system, is that going to kind of change about how catchers are going to be valued now? Because the framing is probably not going to be an issue once ABS comes on board, because it looks like it maybe in the next few years we're going to see it. So how do you think that's going to pan out as far as how you guys evaluate catchers?
Yeah, certainly would change the game behind the dish. As you said, like it takes the kind of receiving or framing, however you want to phrase it, aspect out of it. And so other skill sets may be more heavily valued. You know, really, like we never know until change actually happens and then you're having to make these adjustments. But yeah, there's always kind of this forecasting and projecting and this ebb and flow to things as the game continues to adapt.
Yeah, that's it. That is interesting. I would have never thought baseball would be what it is today. But I'm an old school person, so it's a little bit different for me because Los and I, we kind of grew up. We just like I didn't mind the 3. hour plus game just because I like to go watch. If I'm at a ball game, I don't mind just sitting there having a hot dog and drink and just enjoying the camaraderie with who I'm at the game with. And I'm out there just to kind of relax. It seems like today the game, you get in your seat and it's like you don't have time to really do a whole lot because it's boom, boom.
If you love something, you don't want it abbreviated.
Yeah,
that's Anthony. We went to double headers back in the day. We had 6 hours plus of baseball and loved it. Times have changed.
Yeah. I used to. Yeah, your dad and I used to go to the Coliseum quite a bit. We just catch on Bart, catch a ball game. It was a pretty much a day's event. And then we went to Candlestick. One time I was at Candlestick. If your dad, hey Steve, if you're watching, do you remember the time I had my catcher's glove? I didn't have my regular glove. I had a stinking catcher's glove, and we were sitting behind home plate, and Davey Lopes was up for the Dodgers, and he hits a foul tip that was one of those screamers that went back just over the top of the screen. And we were probably 15 rows behind the plate. And that guy right there.
Is that my dad?
That is your dad on the right. That's me holding my hand up. Yeah.
That's a great photo.
Yeah. We were at Rick Barry's basketball camp together.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I had my catcher's glove, and it was, I don't know, I estimated it was probably coming back 85 miles an hour. I stuck my glove up and it went right in the pocket, man. That felt good. It wasn't one of those, in
the palm.
Yeah, but I don't know why I brought a catcher's glove, but I caught that foul ball that day. And those were fun times. But that back then when we went to a game at Candlestick, we were maybe one of just a few thousand people. It wasn't like today. I mean, they didn't draw back in the 70s. So it was, they were lucky if they drew 1 million people for the season. So, yeah, that was me and your dad, Rick Barry's camp. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's, it is a very, different game today. And it's, I guess if you're watching it on TV, it's maybe a little bit more enjoyable. And that's kind of what maybe who they're geared toward. I don't think they're gearing it toward the people going to the game necessarily. Maybe they are to an extent with kids late nights before school gets out, but I still miss I just miss the game itself, because it's the only game that never doesn't have a clock to say the game's over. It's so. I mean, I was listening to a ball game once. The Giants were, I don't remember what, I must have been 8-10 years old. They were down 7-1 with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 9th. They were playing the Pirates, and all of a sudden, a hit here, a walk, a hit, a homer, a hit. That was grand slam. They won 8-7, 2 out, nobody on, and it took like over a half hour of the stinking inning, but it was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that can happen with the pitch clock still too. But it's
you still get those aspects of the game captured.
Yeah,
plenty of come from behind victories, and that certainly provides like that fun fan experience.
Yeah, I know they got to try and get the younger generation into the game and stuff, but I guess I'm still one of those old timers. It's like I used to love to go to the ballpark. They had Old Timers Day,
Old Timers Day.
They did. You never heard of Old Timers Day?
Yeah, they used to. Yeah, used to have it a lot.
They used to play a game. They played a game.
You used to play during the All-Star game. There was a big one would have had everybody, but each team would have.
Each team had their own old timers game, and they'd come out and they'd play, and you go out and watch them. But any other? You got some more questions, Los, for Anthony? I'm sure you've got something.
I got one more.
Okay,
Anthony, you say you kind of you've come up with as a hitting coach. Who do you lean on as far as pitching advice?
Well, we've got a tremendous pitching department in the organization. And so in this new role, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to do things. I'm trying to just support them as best I can. And
nice.
Really been enjoying interacting with our pitching coordinators and seeing how they create systems and work with our pitching coaches. And, they've done a great job. We're continuing to develop minor league talent and excited for those guys to grow into big leaguers.
Nice.
Well, awesome. Hey, man, it's been great having you.
I got one real quick last question. Anthony, do the minor leaguers when they're warming up, do they still play Pepper, or is that one extinct as well?
Personal preference. We don't have too many guys that play Pepper. There's a lot of different ways that they go about preparing for games and getting ready. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great. That's great. Well, Anthony,
one last one real quick.
One more? Go ahead.
Hey, Anthony, is there a guy in the Orioles organization that we could look forward to see coming up pretty soon? Or there's someone that you're high on that you may see, hey, watch out for this guy?
I mean, you guys have touched on a lot of the names that have been really exciting players on our AAA team. We feel we've got exciting talent across all levels. But yeah, that AAA team has some exciting prospects that, we're a part of Major League Camp at spring training, and, they're on the MLB Pipeline top 100 list. And, with the expansive coverage of the minor leagues now and MILB TV being so accessible, it's a lot of fun to be able to just log on and watch all of these games.
That is really cool, where you just can log on and be able to watch the minor league games. I like that.
Oh, I got a
awesome.
question. I got a question for you. You may or may not know this answer, but Kyle Bradish, what's the word on him? How I heard he was throwing in some. Is he throwing in some minor league games now, or?
Yeah, Bradish continues to throw, as part of his rehab progression, and we're excited for when he's able to join the major league team. And he had a great season last year, and we're looking forward to him continuing his success.
Cool. I drafted him in fantasy, so I got to know. I got him on the IL right now, so I have
Wells. We have Bradish.
Dan trying to get that fantasy baseball.
Got to make sure he's willing to hang on to him or not. I got to find out.
But I also have Kowser. I picked him up.
It's okay. I got Jackson Holiday and I got Mayo on my NA list. So.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, you guys. Everybody's drafting Orioles. Matthew.
Yeah, hey, we appreciate the support.
Matthew, one last one. We'll let you get going here. He asked the question, Anthony Villa, what do you expect from Kjerstad? I think he could be great, but I'm interested to hear the insider view.
Yeah, we certainly love Heston. We're very excited about him. He came up to the major leagues last year and slugged the ball around the yard. And for those who have been following this season, he's off to a hot start. Hit I think 5 homers in that first week of 6 games against Charlotte, and won minor league player of the week. He's a tremendous hitter, tremendous player, and we're excited for him to continue to help our organization be better.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, best of luck to the Orioles organization. I'm actually I'm hoping they make it to the World Series, and love to see you guys win it all. I mean, I loved it when organizations do it the right way. We have been, I don't expect you to have to comment on this, but we have been on this channel a little bit hard on the way the Giants have been doing things. We don't see them going with the young guys. They are trying to fill holes through aging veteran free agents And the young guys are not getting their shot. And a lot of the young guys who have come up, they've done well in the little short window they have, but because the approach has been all analytics, they bring them up for a game or two to face a lefty, a right-handed hitter, and then they send them back down, and they use up some of their call-ups, their options, and it's been frustrating as Giants fans because we haven't been able to get attached to anybody like the Orioles have all these young guys that fans are excited about. I'm sure if you walk around Camden Yards, there's probably jerseys of almost every one of those young guys that have been called up. The Giants have none except the guy they signed in free agent, Jung-Hoo Lee. So they've got these young guys that we've been hearing about for 4 or 5 years. A couple of them are in the top 100, and we're not seeing much of it. So that's why I'm pulling for you guys, because I want to see what I think is the proper way to have an organization run, get rewarded, and win it all, like Houston's done and Atlanta's done recently, all built mostly through the farm. So we wish you the best.
Very, very different philosophies, but one black and orange team is doing it right.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys spreading some love and talking ball. Always good to catch up with some people from Northern California. And thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, Anthony. Awesome. All right. Yeah, give me an Orioles hat. I'll wear it.
All right. There you go.
Get me an Orioles hat. I'll wear the real black and orange. Yeah, it's the black and orange, right? The Orioles and the Giants are orange and black, right? Is that
Giants orange and black?
Yeah. Yes. Give me a black and orange Orioles hat. I'll promote it on the show.
No doubt.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, thanks, Anthony. Have a great one.
Anthony,
all right.
Appreciate it.
Take care. All right. There we go. Anthony Villa, Director of Player Development for the Baltimore Orioles.
That was cool.
They are the organization to envy, in my opinion, in baseball. Them along with the Atlanta Braves and the Astros.
I would like to thank you, Dan, because you got that all set up. Appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
chat, I would. It would be nice of you guys if you could express your appreciation to Dan as well. He's the one that got this all set up for us.
So,
yeah, good guy, good connection.
Anyway,
and I loved. He said a lot of great things, but the one that just hit me right in the heart. Scouting is the bloodline of your organization. And what did Farhan do as one of the first things when he got the job? He fired I can't remember, 8 to 10 scouts.
Yeah.
And just relied on, these data people and the computers and the analytics. And that's why I'm kind of against it. So he said that perfectly. The bloodline of your organization.
Yeah. Well, I think the Orioles, here we are, 2024. Wouldn't shock me to see them make 3 World Series this decade. Maybe more.
Ask them if they need a couple of OGs that wouldn't mind scouting. Hey, let's get out of Arizona for the summer, Dan. Let's me and you just ride in a car for 6 to 8 weeks. And
I'll tell you, I would love to be a scout. Yeah. Just traveling scout, man. That would be fun. Just to go watch kids play. I was watching a kid play. It's been about 4 or 5 years now, but I was out at local high school here, right where my kids go to high school. And it's one of the better high schools in the state of Arizona, Liberty High School. They have a great athletic program. And I'm watching this one kid play, and he's a shortstop. And I don't know, you just see the way guys even carry themselves, the way they have a walk, the way they pick a ball, and the way they, you can see a ball player. And I'm like, so I'm standing there, and I'm right behind the plate, right? And I'm just watching, and I'm standing there, and I go, wow. Talk to this guy next to me, and I go, I really like this kid. this kid out there, and point to him. He goes, yeah, I'm here looking at him too. He's from Arizona State. He was one of the coaches at Arizona State. So it told me I had an eye for, this is why I take a lot of crap from some fans. And Los, you get this. You saw some of it today.
I did.
On the Tyler Fitzgerald. Some of these people telling me I'm saying that Tyler Fitzgerald should be in the lineup at one spot or another. He doesn't have to take anybody's job. He doesn't have to say, okay, Nick Ahmed, you're on the bench. Fitzgerald's playing. You could put Fitzgerald at short one day. You could put him at second for Estrada. You can move him into 3 outfield positions. When guys need a rest, let Fitzgerald play, because we don't know if he can do it for a long period of time. But give the kid a shot. He's 26 years old. He's got some pop. He's hit 20 home runs a year, 3 consecutive seasons in the minors. He's got about a 273 average, and he steals over 30 bases. The Giants don't have anybody like that. Nobody. So play him. You know what? You're not taking anybody's job. He's Chris Taylor. He plays 6 positions. And guys are trying to tell me, there's 2 sides to the game. Giants or ground ball pitching team. It's like, yeah. So he came up as a shortstop. You don't think he could play short? He's got a better arm than Ahmed. I'm not saying he has to take Ahmed's job, but I am saying play the guy that has speed, can steal bases, can play defense, and has a little bit of pop in his bat, and see what he can do. This is what I'm getting at.
That's a very interesting debate. And let's face it, there's just too many Giants fans that are very conservative. They're not risk takers at all. They just kind of want to know what they have, even though what they've had has not been good the last few years. But I'll tell you this, and we've never brought this up on the show, and I'm going to bring it up right now. We're talking glove versus bat. We're talking Luciano versus Ahmed. Let's analyze this. When it comes to glove, let's say both guys play 150 games. Let's have 2 scenarios. Luciano plays 150 games and Ahmed plays 150 games. How many runs over 150 games is Ahmed's glove going to save you? There's no right or wrong answer. Just kind of have a number in your head. How many runs is he going to save? How many diving stops is he going to have with a guy at third that's going to save a run over 150 games? Now let's put Luciano in there. How many RBIs is Luciano going to have? Those are runs. And how many runs is he going to score? To me, it is like a landslide that the offensive player is going to score you more runs than the defensive player is going to keep from scoring over the course of a long season. I don't think there's any debate in that. So for all the people that are just have Ahmed out there, then you're gonna continue to have 3 to 4 runs scored pretty much every night. Don't complain that this is a boring team, because you're one of the ones that's backing that.
Right, exactly. The Giants struggle to score runs, period. And the Giants, in any game, you're pretty much going to have to get about 4 runs on average to have a shot. If you score 3 runs or less, your odds of winning go way down.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you score 3 runs. Okay, when Logan Webb's pitching, you think that's enough? What is Webb's ERA right now? It's 3.8. Logan Webb's career ERA is 3.42. So that tells you if Webb's pitching, you need at least 4 runs. You might be able to get away with 3 runs if your Blake Snell was your pitcher last year, because his ERA was 2.25. But that's very few guys have ERAs now below 3. It used to be pretty common years ago, but the Giants would, and I understand the defense. My feeling is,
bring him in later.
How about bring him in the late innings? Yeah, like we had Ned on. Let Luciano get his 3 at bats. You want to bring in Ahmed when you're ahead,
right? For
the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning when you're ahead. But if you're behind, you need a bat. It's just like what's crazy is if Nick Ahmed comes up in the 8th or 9th inning with the potential, you're behind by a run and there's men on base, and you got Nick Ahmed at the bat, and you're facing a right-handed pitcher, and you got Lamont Wade on the bench, you're more likely going to Lamont Wade, and you're going to say, forget the defense. We need to get ahead.
Right. So use your whole roster. So if you have Ahmed and Luciano, start Luciano out, or let's say you start Ahmed out, and like Dan says, you're behind. Okay, it's the 8th inning and it's the bases loaded with 1 out. Luciano's on the bench. You pinch hit for Ahmed because he's more likely to drive the runs in, and maybe with a big blast score 4 runs. And then conversely, when you're ahead and Luciano is started, now you bring in Ahmed. That is using your whole roster to have this stubbornness of like keeping this guy in here and like, well, he's got a great glove. Yeah, but he gave you 4 crappy at bats. And honestly, he's hitting a little bit better than he has before. He's not hitting bad, but just he's not a guy to drive in. If he plays 140, 150 games, I guarantee you he'll drive in about 40 to 45 runs. I mean, just not a lot. He's not a game changer. He's not a game changer. Neither is Yaz, neither is Slater. They have too many guys that they're just taking up space, quite honestly. They're not game changers. So I think the offensive side of scoring runs and driving in runs might be a little bit more. Has anybody seen Nick Ahmed save a run yet? We're 17 games in. Has he made a great defensive play that saved a run? I haven't seen it yet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Has he? So he hasn't saved a run. He's made all the basic plays. But I'm talking about like, okay, he's got a great glove. He made a diving stop, flipped a second, got the force. That run did not score. That's saving a run. Making the basic plays is not saving a run. And I think Dan, you watched Luciano play shortstop in spring. So did I. I didn't see a guy that was completely clueless at shortstop.
Yeah, he's not going to play there in the major leagues if he has no clue. I mean, he's going to be adequate.
What is this narrative that like he's got this horrible glove? Like, is Ahmed better? Yes, but he's not horrible. He's actually gotten better than I've seen. He's definitely got a better arm. I saw him make a play in the hole in spring where he was on the outfield grass and he made a throw on a line, it did bounce and threw the guy out. So let's be real here.
Yeah, it's crazy. What was I going to mention here? Oh, you were mentioning about Nick Ahmed. Yeah, I was going to just tell you his biggest RBI season that he ever had was, take a guess. What do you think it was?
Say it again. Who?
What do you think Nick Ahmed?
Biggest RBIs.
Most RBIs in one season.
47.
I actually did. He had one good year in 19.
The year of the juiced ball.
Oh, yeah, the juice ball. He played 158 games.
Way to back.
Come on.
Yeah. He had 82 RBIs, 19 homers. Yeah, then the next year, he didn't play that much.
That's hitting in Arizona's.
Oh, that was 2020, the next year. 2021, with 434 bats, he only had 38 RBIs. So the juice ball, there was something to that juice ball, wasn't there?
Totally. And that ballpark. So now he's playing in the pitcher's park with no juice ball, back to 40 RBIs if he played the whole year. Hopefully the Giants will figure it out and they'll bring the kid up. But I mean, it's just refreshing to talk to Anthony and talk about how there's a buzz and an excitement in Baltimore. Because like we talked about, organization, old school fans, and the Orioles have been around a long time. They, just like the Giants fans, just like most baseball fans of teams, they love their homegrown guys. They love them. They can wear their jersey. They're long-term. They're like a stock. You invested in them. Guys like Yaz and Ahmed and people that you just get over, they're just, you just throw them against the wall and they hang around for a year or two. Well, Yaz has hung around for a while. I wanted to bring up a point on Yaz now that I think everybody remembers Joe Panic. And Joe Panic helped the Giants win a World Series with his bat and his glove. Kid hit 300 his first 2 years in the big leagues. Okay. Now, that regime saw Panic slowly. They gave him every chance in the world, but he slowly couldn't hit the ball. I think they gave him, I want to say 3 years after his rookie year was 2014, helped him win a World Series. He hit 308 or 310 the following year. He slowly started progressing. I think they gave him either 3 or 3.5 years, and they finally just said, you know what? And this guy helped the Giants win a World Series.
Right.
So this commitment and loyalty to Yaz for how many years, Eric? You know this. How many years has Yaz been on the team?
Oh, my God. Since what, 2019, right?
Yeah, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is year 6.
And how many years has Slater been with the team?
8.
Longer than that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
So this is my point, guys. Joe Panic was a homegrown Giant, and he helped them win a World Series. And that regime gave him a leash, obviously, out of respect to him. But when they see he couldn't do it anymore, they didn't extend him. They cut him. That's the business. So this loyalty to these two guys, they haven't wanted to have the Giants win a World Series. They haven't. So again, I wanted to bring up Panic because that's a point that's a guy that helped them win. And when he started to deteriorate, most good organizations will at some point let you go. And for some reason, the Giants kind of hang on to these two guys.
Well, there you go, Lewis. This is the current numbers in AAA. You got Elliot, there I go. Elliot Ramos batting 346. Batting 346 with 4 home runs. Casey Schmidt batting 241 with 3 home runs. Luis Matos batting 214 with 2 home runs. Marco Luciano batting 333 with no home runs. But look at these guys. You got Elliott doing his thing right here. He's got 3 doubles, 2 triples, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. Strikeouts a little bit high, but the average is good. On base, 424.
On base, excellent.
Look what he's slugging. Look at his OPS. He's doing it in AAA. He did this in AAA last year, but for some reason, there's a lot of people out there that say, you know what? Hey, he's had his chance. He's doing it. He's what, 24? Is he 24? 24, 25? He's still somewhat young, right?
The people that said Ramos had a chance are full of you know what. He never really had a chance. You can't have start 3 games and go 1 for 12 and get sent back down. That's not a chance.
Look at Brett Wisely.
Give Ramos the same at-bats and chances that Slater and Yaz have got the last few years, despite not playing well. Start them every day.
Absolutely.
Look what Luciano's doing.
That's a double standard and a big hypocrisy right there.
He's got 18 strikeouts and 13 walks with a 462 on base. He's taking a lot more pitches. Luciano is. That's what you want to see, right? You want to see that he's developing to where he could, see the ball a little bit better.
So what's he got? 51 at bats.
Yep.
He's hitting what? 333?
333.
And how many no home
runs?
Okay. But Ramos has 4 homers, right?
Ramos has 4 home runs with almost a little bit less, but a decent on base, 424. That's doing something.
Hey guys, we're seeing a very small sample size, but we're seeing Joey Bart all of a sudden can hit a baseball now.
Yeah.
Wow. When you're given an opportunity and the organization believes in you, good things can happen.
Huge thing when you have, you mentioned it, the key word, when an organization believes in you.
Yeah.
The Giants didn't believe in Joey Bart, period. I heard it directly from Kapler. I mean, they didn't think he could hit. They didn't like and maybe he doesn't hit. Maybe the Giants were right in their assessment, but they never gave him the opportunity to see. I'm not seeing at all. Do you know how many at bats do you think Elliot Ramos?
Oh yeah, we've talked about this. Yeah,
I think you know it. So let me ask Los if you remember.
Los.
How many lifetime at bats does Elliot Ramos have in the major leagues?
I must say about 65.
You're close, a little higher.
80.
Yeah, just under. He's at 76.
That's
so
not
76.
Okay,
and they were not 76 bats put together.
No.
10 at bats here and then sent down.
Yep.
And then 2 months later, here's another 12 at bats. So for you guys that are saying Ramos was given a chance,
no, that he wasn't.
Check yourself. He's not been given a chance.
Yeah, exactly. These guys just do not get it whatsoever. Let me pull something up here, and I'm gonna make my point here.
Dude, are you bipolar? Dude,
it
lost.
Well, we got somebody in the chat. Who's that? Who's that? Someone in the chat?
Dave, dude, go take your medication, dude. What's wrong?
Who is it?
Greg. He's just.
I've already discussed it with him in a chat. He knows the deal. So
yeah, Greg, I'll just point out one thing to you because I wasn't reading the chat, but I got a gist.
I was taking
it.
care of it, Dan.
I know you were.
Yeah,
one point. Greg, if you don't like something part of the show, be respectful and just say it's not. You go watch. So do something else for the night if you don't want to watch the show. But to
go lay on your bed and maybe go watch some Fantasy Island, and then come back a half hour later.
But to say something
is
boring, you know. I mean, I don't know yeah, it's a little bit narcissistic to think the world revolves around you, Greg.
And when you're disrespecting people, that's not an opinion. You're just going out there being an ass. That's what I don't like. That's all.
Exactly. All right. So I'm going to pull up somebody's stats here. And let me see if I can do this. Let me see where we're at. Okay, that's not quite good enough what I wanted. Let me see who else is all right, we'll do this. We'll do this one. Okay. Ramos had how many at bats did I say? 70?
76.
Okay. All right. Hold on here. I'm going to move this up. And I'm going to. Oh, shoot. My darn thing is in the way where I can't. How do I get rid of that taskbar? Somebody walked me through getting through this taskbar.
I think you right click in the taskbar and there should be a taskbar settings.
Right click. I cannot get to my, what I want to do is I want to put something up on the screen and I can't do it.
Wow, the Nationals have put up 6 runs on Paul Glass now.
Whoa.
6 runs in front, and I have
Glasnow had an excellent outing in his last one too. Wow.
Crap.
So is it Control 0 or Control O or
something like that? I can't remember what it was.
Hey, help me.
Where's Austin?
Will says, "What is my screen? My taskbar at the bottom is covering over. I can't see the bottom of my StreamYard. Will, I can't see the. Does Will have the same thing when he's on your show? Control this. Can he see the?
No.
Oh, he can't. Okay.
No.
I cannot. My taskbar is just too high on the bottom. It's just not covering. That's crazy. I almost. You know what? I'm going to bow out and come right back in. Okay, but I can't knock myself out. So.
What do you need? You want me to?
Just knock me out. I'll be right back.
Oh man.
Damn, I was Eric. I was about to exit stage left because I don't want to pull a Dan and bring food and eat it on the show.
You're hungry, aren't you?
I'm
hey, Eric, you got to get me to leave. You can't just boot me. I can't even leave.
I got to boot, just totally get you.
Well, you got to give me the leave button, so I can't get to it. Just boot me. Give me the boot.
Yeah, like an umpire.
I can't. You're the
like an umpire. Kick him out. You're out of here, Coach Emilio. Get out of here.
You're like the guy for this show, so I can't. It doesn't allow me to do anything for that. Hit Control Alt Delete, Dan, and then it should give you the option to restart. Where's Asif? Where's Asif? He helped you out last time.
Yeah, I can't get out of
Control Alt Delete, and then shut it down.
Well, I can shut out the. You know what? I'll just do it this way. See ya.
Oh man, but yeah, I had to wolf down some food before I came on too, man. I was like, damn, I gotta hurry this up.
I haven't ate since about 3. You can cover it by yourself until Dan gets back?
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you in a minute. Are you coming back or are you gone for good?
I'll probably be gone for good. We're 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're pretty deep into it. Exactly.
You guys are marathon guys. You guys are better than I am. I'm just a sprint runner. Later, chat.
All right, take it easy, man.
Yep.
All right, and then there was one, so we'll wait for Dan to come back, see what's going on. Oh my gosh, what do we got out here? Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll just get back to the guest. That was fantastic to have him on. Granted, I don't think he couldn't elaborate on a whole lot of stuff, because he works for the organization. So he kind of had to be careful in some of the stuff that he said. But it was still fantastic information. So you're back.
I got it. All right.
Los went off to eat, so he's gone.
Okay. Well, I am going to show you guys something when I get this figured out. Won't take me but about 20 seconds. And I'm going to pull something up for you guys. And I want you to, well, it might take me longer than 20 seconds because this darn is not working. There we go.
Yeah. Dan, you kind of let it slip in the middle of that interview.
What's that?
So Dan said something interesting about tonight about his fantasy team. Is Matthew a puppet and Dan is?
That one, yeah. I wasn't going to go through the details and say I quit. I got to make it sound. I drafted him, then I quit. No, Matthews.
Oh man,
it's Matthews' team. I'm just getting all the stuff because we couldn't transfer it. So I see everything that happens, every move that still goes on in the league. I see it. All right. So I want to put something up for you guys. Make sure there's nothing on here that reveals. Shoot. Let me see if I can do it this way. Yes. I have to.
Don't lose, dude. Don't mess with that taskbar, man.
No, I'm having to hide the player's name, and so I'm not getting all the statistics. Well, I can show a little bit of it. Okay. Here we go. All right. Can anybody guess? This is 24 season.
I know who that is. You know why I know?
Yeah, I know.
Because I did StatHead the other day.
Okay. Who does this player? Look at the 24 stats. 0.6 WAR, bats 65, 3 homers, 200 batting average. Do we have strikeouts on here yet?
No strikeouts. Don't give it away. It's early though. Remember, this is after.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a point between a full 15 games played consistently versus a guy like Elliot Ramos, who has 76 at bats, and everybody says he's a
What's up, Jim?
Bust. So we don't see who that is, do we? I mean, we don't see the Ks or anything.
No, you don't see any of that.
All right. But is that a pretty good? I mean, if that was, would you say 65 at bats was pretty good?
That's not good for 65 at bats.
I mean, 200? No, that's terrible. Well, Elliot Ramos, by the way, that is Matt Chapman, as you can see, overview. But guys, Elliot Ramos, we don't know if he's any good. We don't know because he has not been given.
And what we mean by given a chance, look, just because you come up for a few games during a season doesn't mean you're given a chance.
Yeah, because the same people that are on me saying Tyler Fitzgerald, because I said something good about he had one good game, or 2 good games, he had a couple good hits. And I'm saying, and they're saying, you want to? No, not at all. Look, guys, players need a couple hundred at bats consistently. That should take about 40 games, 50 games. Give a player 50 games, a third of a season consistently, not in 1 week and then out for 2 weeks and sent down and then up for a week and then, not that. I want to see a guy play at minimum 100 at bats. See a minimum. That's 25 games. See what he can do. You're doing it with guys like Yaz and some of these other guys that just aren't cutting it. But look, I do think that the raw talent will win out the majority of times than the guy that is just the average player. But you know what? Baseball's tough. You got to give a guy a chance. You got to let him see what he can do. The Giants do not do any of that. None of it. And I think that's why they're probably, my guess is, if the Giants don't do anything with their roster as it currently is, and they go with this roster, if it stays healthy, and they go with it the majority of the year, I don't think they make the playoffs. I think they can be very good because of their pitching can help them if they get two more at bat, 2 batters.
Yep.
I've talked about Luis Arias for 8 months. You get him.
Yes, you have. He was in so many of your trade proposals.
Yeah, tons. Bring in Luis Arias. I would have, gone for more pop, with Rhys Hoskins. But we'll see. We'll see. I know Larry and I may disagree on this. He would like to see him go get Pete Alonso. And if it costs them giving up Bryce Eldridge, I would do it if Alonso agreed to sign an extension or a long-term contract. And I know that Eldridge is just a minor leaguer. He's 18, 19, and he may or may not make it. But at some point, you got to trust some of your prospects that are you got to hope. And I don't want to give up a guy for 2.5 months and have him walk, and give up Eldridge. That's me. I think I've watched Eldridge swing, and it looks special to me.
Let me see what he's doing. He's at San Jose, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get an idea of what he's been doing. Team. Team stats. Nah, I don't want that one. Where's the roster? There we go. Bryce Elder's betting 278 right now in San Jose. 1 home run, 316 on base, slugging 611, OPS of 927. That's what he's doing.
Say that again.
Bryce Eldridge is betting 278, 1 home run, 316 on base, 611 slugging, which makes a 927 OPS. Only 18 at bats, though.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, yeah.
Maui Ahuna, that's that kid they got last year, right?
Yeah, he's in A2, right?
Yep, he's there. Trying to see who else is in there.
Oh, he was drafted in that draft.
I don't recognize anyone else in there.
What are the names?
Cole Foster.
Yeah, he was drafted last year too. A shortstop.
Batting 333. They got him playing second base.
Yeah, he was. I think he was out of Auburn.
Okay. We got Guillermo Williamson.
Don't know him. Good draft class. Pretty good draft class. So
Estelan Cassiani. Estelin Cassiani. Drew Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Jonah Cox. Bo Davidson. Javier Francisco.
Yeah.
Ty Hanchey.
That name sounds a little familiar.
Nadir Lewis. Cesar Cuentas. Elian Rayo. Luke Schleiger. Gene Carlos Cio. Yeah, I don't recognize any of those guys. I'm going to take a gander at Eugene.
Okay.
Are you looking at the fantasy team right now?
No, I'm just making a quick text.
You know Turner Hill? Sound familiar at all?
Nope.
Turner Hill? Quinn McDaniel?
Nope.
Zach Morgan?
Nope. Morgan and Stanley? Nope.
Scott Bandura?
That name was familiar. Is he a
center fielder?
Outfielder? I think he came out of draft. Was he Oklahoma kid or I'm not sure.
Justin Bench?
Yeah. Johnny's son.
Yep. Thomas Gavello?
No.
Matt Higgins? Andrew Cashel, I think. Tanner Otrimba.
Man.
Jack Payton. O'Neal Perez. Diego.
Oh, wait. It wasn't. They got O'Neal Cruz and who? Tony Perez?
No. And Justin Wischkowski. I don't know any of those guys. Not one of them. Not one of them in high A.
Those are high A, huh?
Those are all high A.
Wow.
Now let's take a look at Richmond real quick. We already looked at.
Now the Richmond team is going to be interesting. The Giants have everybody that of interest, I believe, in low A, double, and triple A.
Let's see what we got. Individual stats. So far, the only guy we know is the kid, the shortstop kid, right?
For who?
The one I mentioned in San Jose. I can't remember.
Maui Ahuna?
Yeah, that guy. And then Bryce Eldridge. That's the only guys we know.
I knew Cole Foster too. He was in that draft. Cole Foster should be a pretty good player. Where's Will Wilson? What happened to that guy?
About to tell you here.
He fell off the face of the earth.
Let's see what we got here. Victor Barricotto.
Yeah,
that's a big guy, right?
Power hitter. Yeah.
And 235. 12 strikeouts, no walks. 34
Any home runs? Any home runs yet?
One.
What's really going to be interesting is check these guys out the 1st of June, see where they're at.
Hunter Bishop batting 267. Know him.
Any home runs?
1.
That's good.
Von Brown batting 83.
You mean like
Yaz.
Like Yaz 83?
.083 Von Brown with 24
How many at bats? How
24.
Many? Ooh, wonder what happened to Von Brown.
16 strikeouts, 1 walk. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. Jimmy Glowinky.
He was drafted in that one of those early drafts.
Yep, batting 222. Christian Koss, don't know him.
Maybe it's same spelling as the Cassis? No, it's not Cassis.
As in Koss.
Oh.
It could be Kos. It could be
Koos.
Koos. No, I think it has to be 2 O's, right?
Yeah.
Grant McCray. Batting 125.
Grant McCray. Gee. You know who else is down there? Logan Wyatt is down there.
Hold on, getting there. Will Wilson.
There we go. Will Wilson, double
batting
A.
80, batting an 80.
Will 80. Wilson.
.080.
Will Wilson. Gee.
Will Wilson. Logan Wyatt. Batting 182.
Huh.
Brent Auerbach. 200. Damon Dews, don't know him.
Well, Hunter Bishop's 267 is looking pretty good.
I know. Adrian Shagesti.
Oh, Sagowski is a catcher. He's a
263.
What do these guys have? Like 15, 20 at bats?
It's the most is Victor at 34 at bats. Hunter Bishop has 30. Von Brown 24. Jimmy Glowinky 27. The Coach kid is only 8.
Okay. What about
McCray 24, Wilson 25, Wyatt 22.
Okay.
So all about the low to mid 20s, some of them in the mid to low 30s.
No, it's not Aaron. It's not Hal McCray. He's not his dad. No, it's a different spelling, I think.
Yeah.
Too.
It ends with the Y, not the E.
Yeah.
But, again, it's early, but boy, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good.
Early, yeah. Well, hey guys, we've been going for 2.5 hours. 2 hours 44 minutes. So we are gonna call it a night. It's great to have Anthony Villa, Director of Player Personnel for the Baltimore Orioles, join us. A lot of insight into what baseball life is like. What it's like to be in the minor leagues. What it's like to,
sounds like he's on the road a lot.
Well, he's going to be on the road because he's got to cover 7 different teams.
Yeah, that's a lot of teams, man.
And so he's looking at. I mean, he's over. Pretty much the entire. He's basically what Kyle Haynes is doing. Kyle Haynes is Director of Player Development, I believe. Isn't that what is Kyle Haynes' title?
I think he's the Director of Player Development, right? Isn't he the same? Pretty sure that's what he is. You bet, Glenn.
Kyle Haynes.
Hopefully, how was your trip back to Canada? Hopefully, it was good.
Okay, this is not the same. Haynes, what? I don't know. Is this the... Okay, yeah, this is the same Kyle Haynes. He was drafted by the Giants 2004. I'm just looking up his title. Yeah. Okay. Same. Guys, just to enlighten you what we had on, who we had on tonight for that's Kyle Haynes, Senior Director of Player Development. Now, he may be, Anthony is Director, so Kyle is Senior Director. So it may be where I think Anthony has
it's
someone
probably
above him.
it's probably the same, but this different job title probably maybe.
Not exactly sure, but yeah, I think his boss is the senior director. So, but off to the Toronto Friday, the Stanley Cup playoffs. Awesome. Have a blast, Glenn.
Nice.
Mark says, "How am I holding up?" I'm doing better, Mark. Today was kind of a little bit of a turning point. I'm seeing Buster do better.
Good. Yeah, this takes a little time.
Buster has been with me by my side the whole first, but today he went into the backyard and laid on the turf and sunbathed for a while.
There you go.
So that means he's
coping.
He's coping better. So, in fact, say hello, Buster. He's by the door over there. Hey, buddy. Come here. Come here. Say hello. Sit. Say hello to everybody. Yeah. Say good boy. Hey, we're going to end the show. You want to end the show tonight? Ooh. See if I can get him to howl.
Not working, is it?
Not yet. You know what I can do though?
Yeah, I know. You always get on the phone and do that.
I put that phone thing on, and he's off to the races, man. Yeah. Hey, Matt wants to rub your belly. Come here. Lay down. Sit. Lay down. Roll over. Roll over. There you go. Roll over. There you go, Buster boy. You good boy? Huh? You good boy?
Aaron says Warrior postgame tomorrow too. I guess we probably could get into that during the.
We'll see. I don't know if Larry's going to be doing one or not tomorrow. The Warrior. Oh yeah, tomorrow night, guys. We are definitely. I'm not. Let me see. Hold on 1 second here.
What time's the game?
That's what I'm going to look.
Gotcha.
Tomorrow night.
The chat's going to be crazy tomorrow, man. You got a bunch of Warriors fans. You got a bunch of Kings fans. Should be.
Yeah. So we'll come on. Maybe we'll come on after. We'll do a show if Larry's not doing one. 7 o'clock tomorrow, Warriors. So we will come on tomorrow at. We'll try and come on at 6:15. But more likely, I mean, the game. It depends on the game. I would say 6:30.
Okay.
We'll
go for a half hour.
Yeah, we'll just go for a half hour. So, yeah. So,
Senior's already throwing in a towel. No reason to watch the game. Kings without Monk. You guys will win.
Oh, no Herder, no Monk, huh? Yeah,
no, we'll be doing Ben, we're going to do baseball at 6:15, and then depending on what happens with if Larry's going to go live, maybe he'll have a basketball post.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of doing a basketball post if he doesn't? Maybe?
Yeah, if he doesn't. Yeah. But he probably will.
No GP2 for the Warriors.
Oh, is GP2 going to be out tomorrow?
That's what Mark says.
Dang it. I thought he might be. He's got that calf strain, and I hope that's not an Achilles because that's always the precursor. Let's see. Check.
Yeah, I saw that, Mario. That was classic. The remember Will Smith saying about Profar, talking about him being irrelevant.
Yeah.
Comes out with the next game and hits what was it? A 3-run double? Is that what it was? He hit something like that. A little bit of karma there.
Have you seen this Nestor Cortez? You have to check it out.
Yeah, I saw it, man. I saw it yesterday.
What the heck?
Did you see that? That was crazy. He never dropped his legs, and he did that little fake throw, and then he does the real throw.
What the heck? Is that
I would love to show it on here, but I know MLB will say nope.
Yeah. Boy, his foot comes very close to hitting the ground.
he does a great job balancing.
Go through all that and then hit the guy. Jeez, that's crazy. All right, guys. Tomorrow night, 6:30, maybe 6:15 if the game ends sooner. We'll play it by ear. And thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for your patience. We got off a little bit of the Giants baseball, but we covered Giants baseball before and after. So
yeah.
You got 30 minutes of Giants baseball coverage of the game, and then afterwards. So, yeah. So, yes, Chardal, you may. Go ahead and send him the link.
You're going to be mean, aren't you?
No, I can't. I can't be that.
You can't do that.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't be that mean. I'm sorry. It's tempting, but I'm not. I'm not going to do that. That's, yeah. Hey, my camera's falling off here. Come on, stay. What's going on with my camera? Oh, there we go. Hold on.
He's talking about tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
There we go.
Glenn, don't get me involved in all this. Remember we had Glenn on, and then we brought in Chardal. He got the Chardal experience. Oh man, that was pretty good.
Chardal, thoughts on Giants winning the World Series? Okay. Hey, you know what? Anything's possible. If the Giants get into the playoffs and they make some improvements with their lineup, and if their rotation's intact, they will be a tough out. I'll just say that. I'm not going to say that the Giants can't win the whole thing this year. They actually can. But they've got to be able to change their lineup to get into the play. I don't think this current team even makes the playoffs. I really don't. So make some changes. That means more athletic right fielder, whether that's a combination of Ramos, Matos, and
before we get out of here, Dan, is Cobb counting against the 26-man? Is he taking up a spot?
No.
He's not.
No.
How is he not taking a spot if he's not on the IL?
He's on the 40.
There's a 40-man? Or he's on the 40-man, but he's not on the 26.
Right.
How are they getting away with that if he's not on the
He's on
IL?
the 40. He is on the IL.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So they're just okay. Gotcha.
If he's on the 60, he doesn't take up a roster spot, but he's not on the 60.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
They should put him on.
I haven't heard nothing yet. They should have. I don't understand why they just don't. I
think he might get moved to the 60 here shortly if they feel like he's more than a month out.
Yeah, we haven't even heard nothing from Bob. Remember, all the talk was, he may make it opening day. Yeah, that was a little bit.
I love this. Oh, Dodger Dan Muzahara just better than the Giants. Now we know how he lost.
Brother.
No, I always have to have a disclaimer because of the wisecrackers out there. No, I'm just saying I don't think the Giants are making the playoffs this year, Hiroku. I think this lineup is not ready for prime time. I don't like the lineup at all. I don't. I think it's a.
You think it's flawed to a certain extent?
It's flawed. I think it's about an 80-win team the way that it's set up now. I think it can be an 85 to 87 win team if they bring up a couple of the guys and let them play. Let Luciano play. Let Matos play. Let's have
Ramos.
Fitzgerald
How about
play.
Ramos?
Or Ramos, yeah. I mean, if it's not Matos, it's Ramos. To me, it's
either or, right?
Yeah, it's Ratos.
Ratos.
I mean, who would you guys rather have, Slaz or Ratos?
Ratos.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking Ratos over Slaz any day of the week. Yeah. That works. Ratos.
Yeah, we talked about that, Brian. he looked good, not pitching for a week. But yeah, he needs to understand when that clock is ticking. He needs to get on with that pitch. Come on.
Yeah, I like it. Ratos, Slaz, and what else do we got?
Yatos. You got Ratos, Yatos, Slaz.
I don't like the Yatos combo. Give me Ratos and how about this one?
Lucy Gerald.
I had Fitzlano. Give me Fitzlano and Ratos.
Ratos. I can't even say it. What is it?
Fitzlano. Fitzliano.
No, see, there's
Fitziano
and Ratos.
Fitziano. Give me Fitziano and Ratos and get rid of Slaz.
Fitziano and
yeah. Get rid of Slaz and what other combination can we get rid of? You have to have two to get rid of,
Yeah.
Instead of Chapman, how about Chapmed?
Chapman? Or how about, oh man.
Oh gosh. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'd even accept a Yatos for now. Just to get
Ben, what is that? Lucierald.
Lucierald. Like Luciano Lucierald.
Lucierald. God.
Lucierald. I think I like Fitziano.
Wait,
Luciano.
Ratos.
Fitziano's and Ratos.
Fitziano.
Yeah. You get Fitziano and Ratos playing. Now you got four guys. There we go. Fitziano and Ratos. Or, yeah, you can't go
because it's Matos.
You can't go Matos. It already is Matos.
That's what I'm saying. There's already a Matos.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna hang it up. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, and everybody have a good one. Take care.